Yeah, I think we go, how much do you watch? It's on at kickoff. I'll turn it on. I'm not watching any of it.
Yeah. Happy Gilmore 2, EB? No, I haven't.
Yeah, Ryan, I was thinking about that when I saw that they won. I wasn't paying a whole lot of attention to it, but I did check the finals.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floormeister Studios. Floormeisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you on not just this final Thursday of July, it's the final day of July. We've got a trade deadline. We've got a nationally televised football game. How the heck are you? Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Thanks so much for being with us. If you're like Miller and Moulton and you don't count tonight's little soiree on NBC, the magic numbers are 28 and 35. 4 weeks tonight. It's the Thursday night leading into Labor Day weekend. Those 16 college football games. Headliner could be Boise State at South Florida. Meanwhile, 5 weeks tonight, Eagles host the Cowboys. Let's get this party started. Lions and Chargers tonight, trade deadline in 12 hours. And Mark, they actually made some trades yesterday. It was as if Rob Manfred got on the phone and said, somebody better make a deal in the next 6 minutes or I'm fining the whole league.
Nothing during the day that was that major, but it looks like Suarez is going to get moved. But David, it had a little NHL feel to it because a lot of teams made moves that didn't really grab you. But if you look a little deeper, a bunch of teams were acquiring the pieces that they think they need for the stretch run. So I anticipate more of it today. I think we've defined that there are some teams we were not sure about that are going to be sellers. One of those teams was the Tampa Bay Rays.
Rays making an interesting deal, a three-way deal involving what? The Reds and the Dodgers,
Yep.
in which the Rays get a catcher. The Rays have been searching for a catcher. Well, I could argue their entire franchise history, but they certainly have been searching for a catcher the moment they had the number 1 pick of the draft and passed on Buster Posey. So that's 15 years. So the Rays acquire a catcher, a 28-year-old catcher in the Dodgers organization who's blocked by their all-star catcher, Smith. And so they give up, they acquired some guys from Cincy. They threw in some prospects of their own. They ended up giving up 3 guys. And they acquire, what is it? Hunter Fiducia. Okay. Hope he can play. I mean, he's short-term / long-term answer because he's 28. I mean, 3, 4, 5. I mean, he hasn't played much, so there's not a lot of tread worn on the tires, but, all right, maybe he can hold down the position through most of the rest of the decade while they go find the long-term solution somewhere, draft some kid, acquire some rookie ball prospect that they groom. But yes, Mark, there were 3 All-Stars, though, traded yesterday. Suarez, as you mentioned, is going to Seattle pending a physical, but a couple of closers. I mean, Cardinals closer Helsley and the Twins All-Star closer Duran. They both got dealt yesterday.
Well, Duran was the big one. That was the one we were kind of laughing at as the Twins fans thought he was traded a couple of days ago because he has his routine when he goes to the bullpen after about the 4th or 5th inning. When he goes down to the bullpen, he always hugs the bullpen catcher. And that had everybody in Minnesota freaking out, thinking he was traded. And indeed, he finally was moved.
And he was interviewed yesterday before the Twins-Red Sox game, and he said, I really don't want to get traded. This has been my home. I don't want to go anywhere else. I'll be sad. And he got dealt like 3 hours later. That's all right. The Mets made a deal yesterday. One of the guys in the deal was sitting in the bullpen.
And was not happy about it.
No,
didn't he get, called up pretty young, or he's been in the organization forever.
Yep.
And the bullpen coach was, kind of consoling him in the bullpen. He was distraught, David.
Mark, 10 years ago at the trade deadline, the Mets were playing the Nats, and Wilmer Flores was out at shortstop. And the buzz was that the Mets were acquiring a big bat. I forget the guy's name. And Wilmer Flores was part of the deal. And the deal was not official, so the Mets kept Flores in the game. But obviously, it's social media and what have you. Flores is in the dugout crying. Flores is going out to the field crying. And the Mets TV starts focusing on it. And they start having a discussion. Do you have to take him out of the game? Okay. And what have you. So the deal falls through. Flores remains a Met. Okay. The Mets go to the World Series. Now, not because of Wilmer Flores. He was a small piece. But still. So Mets fans, Mark, they see Jose Butto crying in the bullpen, and they're like, well, the last time we had that, we went to the World Series. All right.
Well,
keep trying, kid.
Look, I'm fascinated by the National League right now because your Mets are a solid team. They're not a great team. They're a solid team. The Phillies, I think on paper, are a better team than the Mets. Personally, you may disagree, but I like the Phillies roster more than the Mets roster, man for man. But not by a whole lot. Then you have the Dodgers, who have gone through 2 years in a row now of injuries everywhere, but the payroll is so gosh darn big that they can overcome it. And then you have the Brewers and the Cubs, who the Brewers especially are out over their skis a bit. So, and then whoever comes in, whether it's the Padres, the last wild card there. I mean, the National League, and both leagues for that matter, but I think the National League 1 through 6 is better than the American League 1 through 6.
And Cincinnati got their hand raised going, hey, we're going to challenge. And people are like, well, we'll see. Okay, we'll
Yeah.
see. I mean, it's
Okay.
because right now it's the Big Six and Cincinnati going, don't forget about us, and the rest of the league going, we'll see. You know, I hope for your sake, but I don't know.
Well,
Because
put it this way. Let's just say the Reds go on a Tiger-like run from a year ago and they end up making the postseason. No one will be buying the Reds in the postseason if no matter which of the 6 teams they replace.
Oh, no doubt about it. I mean, no doubt. Mets, Phillies, Brewers, Cubs, Dodgers, Padres. I mean, I'll bet you right now those are the 6 playoff teams in the National League.
If we were a much bigger show, and a show that I like is a much bigger show, the Dan Patrick Show, they do a poll question every hour. Because it's the baseball hour, and David, I'm not going to do this. I'm really not. But you would love this poll question. If I just said Yankees, Red Sox, Mariners, Rangers, who doesn't make the playoffs?
Look at you. Look at you.
Yeah, that's pretty good for 6:09 in the morning. I got to admit, that's not half bad. But when I look at the American League, because if Texas gets in, unlike if the Reds were to get in, they'd be an afterthought. If Texas gets in, teams are going to go, oh, blank.
Yeah, with that pitching?
Right.
Yeah. They'd go, oh, this is a problem.
If you're Detroit or Houston or whoever ends up playing Texas in that first-round matchup, you're like, oh, boy.
Yeah. Congratulations. You won your division. You're the 3 seed. Okay. That's Jacob deGrom on the hill. Nathan Eovaldi's pitching game 3. Okay. I mean, good luck to you. Good luck to you. So 3 of those 4 teams, by the way, won yesterday. The Yankees and Rays, I'll tell you, I don't know if anybody's paying attention. The game was on Amazon last night. It was a whale of a game. Whale of a game. Rays have a 2-1 lead going to the 8th. Okay. Yankees score 2 to take a 3-2 lead. Then Josh Lowe hits a 2-run homer in the 9th. Then Volpe with 1 out in the 9th. And they're booing him because he's got Steve Sachs, Chuck Knobloch disease. He's throwing the ball all over the place. Okay. Volpe homers off Fairbanks to tie it. Rays score in the 10th. Yankees score in the 10th. Have the winning run on 3rd with 1 out. Can't get them in. And then the Rays don't score and the Yankees do, and the Yankees walk it off in 11.
And a lot of it to do in the 11th with a balk.
Yep.
First and second, pitcher balks. That goes to second and third, brings the outfield in, and then the Yankees deliver with the game-winning single. But in the 10th, when the Rays score with the sac fly, that could have been a big inning. That was a hell of a defensive play by the left fielder there for the Yanks to hold that to 1 run.
Yeah, because if he doesn't make that catch, they score 2 more easy.
Right.
The runners are on second and third with 2 out there. So, yeah.
And we don't think of the Yankees in defense all that often.
No, we do not.
But that has been that was a terrific series, no doubt.
And I think there's only like 3 games today, but I think, do the Rays and Yankees play today? Is it a 4-gamer?
It is 1 o'clock.
Yeah. So
the only afternoon game. And you're right, there's only 3 games. Yanks and Rays, Braves and Reds, Mariners and Rangers. So only 3 games on the trade deadline day. And obviously 2 of them, the Mariners game doesn't start till nearly 10 o'clock Eastern. So it will be interesting to see what moves are made today, because Texas still really hasn't done anything. And they need a bat.
They may need 2.
Well, and obviously they didn't get Suarez. He goes to Seattle. I don't know how interested they were in, but hearing Houston is in the Alcantara market now because the pitcher they were going after, that didn't work out. So we'll see if Sandy Alcantara gets traded today and where he gets traded to.
Less than 12 hours in the baseball trade deadline. Teams are acquiring prospects like their NFL draft picks. They are convinced that these guys are all going to make it. And the contenders are like, yeah, prospect? Here, fine, take them. Don't care. I'm trying to win. Meanwhile, we've got football tonight. For those of you that count it, I got to be honest, I won't turn it on for a second. Not even for the open.
That makes one of us. I will turn it on. I guarantee you I will turn it on. We are glad you turned us on. Pretty good show on trade deadline day. Ryan Spaeder, who covers Major League Baseball, will join us. And Whit Watson, as there is the final golf tournament before the FedEx Cup playoffs, starting 25 minutes away. For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to nolanagency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or nolanagency.com.
With summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floor Meisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floor Meisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dream Weaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from to fit everyone's taste. Floor Meisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Whether you're chasing peak performance, reigniting intimacy, or simply want to feel your best, Game Day Men's Health creates customized game plans to optimize your health. Call 239-427-3441 for our Bonita Springs and Naples location to set up your free testosterone test and consultation. Mention Miller Moulton Radio Show for 10% off your service. Find your maximum self with Game Day Men's Health, Bonita Springs and Naples, Florida. Call 239-427-3441 today.
This is Miller and Moulton.
You know, Michael, you're pretty defiant with your statements. You want to fire the Rockies GM because he didn't make a trade. Did you ever think about it from the other end? They suck so bad that nobody wants any of their players. I mean, think about it from the other end. Which Rocky would you trade for? I'll hang up and listen. Did they want him or did they inquire about him? Because if they wanted him, Michael, they would have got him. And I just think you got to be easy with your defiant comments. You spent 2 days telling everybody how Von Miller was a first ballot Hall of Famer. You wanted to bet me $50. And I said, okay, I'll take your bet. And you went, I guess I'm not going to bet. I mean, it's laughable. Either stick to your guns or calm down.
Well, guys, imagine being on the Rockies and getting traded to the Yankees. Even though they're not the best team in baseball, they're the most prestigious team in baseball. And you were on the Rockies.
No, I know. I'm just, he comes over the top, start of the show. I want to fire the GM. It's like, stop it. I can't do it all day. All right. I can't do it all day again.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. About a week and a half away from the Fantasy Football Summit. It's Tuesday, August 12th. Shoeless Joe's Sports Cafe, Fort Myers, Bell Tower Shops. Dinner starts as early as 6 o'clock. The event starts at 7. Dr. Roto, dinner, Miller and Moulton, football talk for as long as you want to talk it. Get all your questions answered. Walk out with your fantasy cheat sheet and a lot more. There were guys who brought notebooks and filled up pages upon pages. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. And you know what? You're right. You get a cheat sheet. You get Dr. Roto's cheat sheet. But it's a lot more than that because you can go online and pull down cheat sheets from a lot of different services. You get a lot more than that. I would suggest bringing a notebook. I would highly encourage you to be able to listen and take notes because one piece of paper is not enough to take notes on.
So millerandmoulton.com, sign up, Fantasy Football Summit. It's a unique event. I don't know of another radio station doing something like this at all. He's one of the top 20 fantasy football players in the country this decade, and it's been proven. So, best we can do. millerandmoulton.com, sign up. Hope to see you there. All right. Started the show by saying the magic numbers are 28 and 35, but Mark, for some people, the magic number is 0.
You've got that right, David. We have preseason football tonight, the Hall of Fame game, and it is the crux of our poll question. How much will you watch? All of it? I'll check it out. Or the David Moulton answer. Preseason, no way.
Not a second. Not a second. And
I think what I will do tonight is probably, and I've never done this before, but people who record their own television and then post things that they've seen to comment on a person or a player or whatever, I'm going to do that, but I'm just going to text David highlights.
I think tonight's the night for me to watch Happy Gilmore too. All right. I think tonight's the night.
Well, I have got to get my wife to give me a definitive time that we're going to watch it, because I have a lot of time during the day. I have plenty of time from when the show ends until when she gets home to watch it. And I've said during the commercial break several times, I'm trying to find a show. I'm struggling to find a new show to watch. I've watched a bunch of documentaries and things like that. I like those, or documentaries for that matter. But I haven't found a show that I've been able to sink my teeth into. And if she doesn't give me a definitive time, I'm watching it without her.
I thought you were going a little French there. Okay. I remember
organization.
Okay. Well, okay. I didn't know if you were going French or you were going Canadian there. Okay. Right. I just remember growing up. All right. And, I don't know, 13, 14 years old. And I said, hey, where'd you get that? And they said, oh, the new French place. I went, what? They said, yeah, Marshall's. And so that's what I thought you were going there with documentary. I'm like, oh, wow, this is a different documentary. This is upscale. This is highfalutin here. So, all right. I didn't realize you were going French Canadian, OHL junior hockey player. And that's fine. It keep me on my toes. Good for you. Okay. Especially during the first hour of the show. I'm like, oh, wow, he's throwing something new at me there. A question. So you've never cheated on your wife? And by cheating on your wife, I mean, so you can't watch during the day Happy Gilmore 2 while she's at work, and then just when she's finally ready to watch the movie, you go, oh, good, I've been dying to watch this. And then
no. First off, I don't think it's a movie that I want to see twice. Okay. All right? That I have such low expectations for this. And I've listened to folks in the YouTube and Twitch chat room comment. I've had people on the text line, 21,000, wide open, by the way. If you've not texted the show, Miller's the keyword. I've had people literally text the show and say, it's awful. It'll make, all over the board. So I've had every different critique of this movie given to me. But my wife's a big Adam Sandler fan. She likes him a lot.
All right.
So I would rather watch it with her.
Well, you're going to watch it with her.
I'm not watching it twice.
Okay. All right. That's all. That's all. Listen, my wife has all but said that, that there's basically two ways to cheat on your wife. Okay. There's, the way that ends in divorce. But let me tell you, she said, and then there's the way in which, there's no make it happen night for a while, because I'd be honked. And that's when you watch something that we're supposed to be watching together. So my wife and I have to clear. We have to get security clearance. We negotiate. My wife will say, listen, while you're doing whatever, I want to watch these shows. Can I do that? And I go, sure, because I don't care. But then there's a couple things that I want to watch. And I go, well, just so you know, when you're doing whatever, I want to watch this, this, and this. And she'll go, well, I'd like to watch that with you. And I'm like, I didn't put any reservations on what you wanted to watch.
I understand. We're in a little different position because, my wife puts in long days. So we don't really have the opportunity to watch a lot of television together. So I'm not going to spoil one thing that she wants to watch. But like I said, I'm going to ask her permission. But I had to laugh. We got a text sometime late last night. Someone who catches the show via the podcast.
Great.
And he lives out west. And yesterday and today was the day when I mentioned that General Motors bought Cadillac for $4.5 million.
That was a really good purchase.
And it was in 1908. And so this person texted that in today's dollars, that's the equivalent of $160 million today. I still think that's a good deal.
That's a steal.
A steal. But I say that because I was thinking about sending the massive text out again about the fantasy football summit.
Okay.
And I think about it when I get here at 5:30 in the morning. And not everybody lives their life with their phone on silent like you and I do. And so I'll have to remind myself around 8:30 when I think that's allowed. By the way, when are you allowed? Someone asked, who was it? JP Shadrick asked off air yesterday when we had him on, because we have him on via Zoom. And he said, when's the legal time to start doing yard work?
I thought it actually will make for a great poll question. I think it's very fair as to when are you allowed to cut your grass? Okay. When is the construction crew allowed to show up and start working on the house next door?
Well, you say, yes, it doesn't matter to me, but my wife and daughter were woken up yesterday by the neighbors putting a new roof on that started well before 8 a.m.
Oh,
and
yeah.
That's early.
Yeah.
And they started most of the, and I live in a gated community, so they let you in usually at 7. I mean, that's when the workers can get behind the gate.
Right.
Some neighborhoods it's 8. Mine, I believe it's 7. That's early.
No doubt. No doubt. But then again, we all know it's hot as blank. Okay.
Right.
And so
it's going to rain in the afternoon too.
Right. And so they're trying to get in as much as they can. But I think that's a very fair question. Don't know if we want to put it up today. Okay. But JP asked specifically about cutting grass. What's the earliest you can cut your grass? We understand contract work, although you can hire out to have your grass cut and what have you. But because JP, apparently he's got a lot going on around him pre-8 a.m. And he's not very happy about it.
And I agree with him. I don't think it should be until 8 a.m., but I understand why it's 7. I get it. My old man was a first shifter in the factory. It was a 7A to 3P job, basically. Right. That's when you were there. So I understand trying to get that work done early, obviously, with the heat we have here. But I also understand JP's side. I want to sleep in a little bit. But if you're awake, you get to starting 5 next. Southwest Florida's scorching heat is on its way. Stay cool with Air Advantage. As a proud Rheem Pro partner, Air Advantage delivers top-notch air conditioning solutions to keep you cool and comfortable. Right now, enjoy 18 months, no interest, no payments on qualifying systems. Call 433-4635 today for expert installation and unbeatable comfort all summer long. Online at myairadvantage.com. Air Advantage. Call today, 433-4635.
Whether you're chasing peak performance, reigniting intimacy, or simply want to feel your best, Game Day Men's Health creates customized game plans to optimize your health. Call 239-427-3441 for our Bonita Springs and Naples location to set up your free testosterone test and consultation. Mention Miller Moulton Radio Show for 10% off your service. Find your maximum self with Game Day Men's Health, Bonita Springs and Naples, Florida. Call 239-427-3441 today.
With summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floor Meisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floor Meisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dream Weaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from to fit everyone's taste. Floor Meisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Oh, yeah, Puck Virtue. Absolutely. I've lived in a place where the garbage pickup on our street was dark year-round. Absolutely. I have to admit, since I grew up in apartments, I grew up with noise. I've always been able to ignore it. The person I live with has not been able to do that. I ignore it all. Hey-o! Ah. Damn, that hurts.
I'm relentless, David. Guy texted in. I'm the owner of a pool company in Cape Coral. I can tell you landscaping and pool companies like to start early, both because of the heat in the afternoon and the thunder showers. I totally understand, but I know it sucks if you live next door to that noise. By the way, you own a pool company. Ever think about advertising with Miller and Moulton?
Yes, Joe, I do. I think I do think that there will be wholesale changes in that organization. We did yesterday, Jay Gunn, multiple times. But yes. Yeah, but Joe, you guys already did the whole GM thing. He's in year 2 of his rebuild, so the White Sox aren't going to clean house. They've already done that. Sonny, it's remarkable. We talked yesterday. Does he win Manager of the Year the way Girardi did the one year when he got fired and he won what, like 79 games? Michael, the Marlins are sellers. Buy, sell, or hold. They're sell or hold. But my guess is they will sell a couple of pieces today.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes until the top of the hour. Ryan Spaeder, an hour from now, to talk the baseball trade deadline, which still has time left to go. Whit Watson, a little more than an hour. It's the final PGA Tour event before the FedEx Cup playoffs. One of the last opportunities it is the last opportunity to get in the FedEx Cup playoff, but it's one of your last opportunities to do anything to keep your tour card. And there's not a lot of opportunities left to make a Ryder Cup team either. So we'll talk golf with Whit Watson in our 8 o'clock Eastern hour. Miller and Moulton brought to you in part by Floor Meisters. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real. Time now for
The Starting Five. 5 big stories you need to know. Here is the Starting Five.
baseball trade deadline is 11 hours and 21 minutes away. 6 o'clock Eastern tonight. Some teams got busy yesterday. The Mets acquired 2 relievers, Tyler Rogers from the Giants and Ryan Helsley from the Cardinals. They gave up 5 minor leaguers, 4 of them pitchers, and a major league reliever who was in the bullpen when he found out in the early innings that he was being traded, and the Mets are the only team he's ever played for. It was an emotional scene. The Phillies said, the 2 relievers you got, they're pretty good. We're going to get 1, and he's going to be better. Twins all-star closer Johan Duran. They gave up 2 of their top 5 prospects in their organization. One's at AAA, one's in A-ball. Seattle gets Suarez, the third baseman from Arizona. They gave up 3 prospects, 2 of which have major league experience. Arizona has let teams know, we're not interested in your single A guys. We want to contend next year. We're going to write this year off, but we want to reload. So if you want our players, you need to give us guys who have major league experience or in AAA, because we're turning this sucker right around. The Reds made a couple deals yesterday. They acquire right-handed pitcher Zach Littell from the Rays for 2 minor league pitchers. By the way, the Rays then sent one of those minor leaguers and 2 other players to the Dodgers for catcher Hunter Fiducia and right-handed pitcher Brian Van Bell. The Reds, Mark, I had said, earlier that the Mets, made a deal. Well, Brian Hayes, got dealt from the Pirates to the Reds. Brothers got traded yesterday in the majors. Cubs sent 2 prospects to Washington for starter Mike Soroka. This is an interesting deal. This is a 2020s baseball deal. You look at Soroka's stats and you go, why in the world would the Cubs want him? Bad record, ERA just under 5. There's this fairly new stat in baseball. It's batted balls in play, what a guy's ERA should be. Soroka's ERA is 3.3. Basically, they're saying the defense behind him sucks. Interesting. Soroka to the Cubs. They also picked up reliever Andrew Kittredge from the Orioles. The Orioles also sent infielder Ramon Urias to Houston. So a lot of dealing, 11 hours and 18 minutes still to go in the Major League Baseball trade deadline. Yankees and Rays. This has been a hell of a 3-game series, and the finale's at 1 o'clock today. Yankees down. They scored 2 in the 8th to take the lead. Then Josh Lowe, it's a 2-run homer in the 9th. The Rays have the lead. Then Volpe homers with 1 out in the 9th to tie it at 3. Then the Rays score in the 10th. The Yankees score in the 10th. And then the Yankees score in the 11th to win it. 5-4 in 11. The Yankees so far have taken 2 out of 3 against the Rays. They remained 4 back of the Jays, who edged Baltimore 9-8 thanks to a 5-run 7th. The Red Sox remained 5 back of the Jays thanks to a 13-1 win over the Twins. Jarren Duran with 4 RBIs, which is interesting because he was in trade rumors all day. All day. Apparently the Astros really want him, and the Red Sox keep playing him, and he's hitting the cover off the ball. By the way, the Red Sox did make a minor acquisition. They acquired 34-year-old lefty Steven Matz from the Cardinals. Tigers, Mark, they won 4 in a row. You feeling better?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Not on both fronts. I mean, they weren't hitting and they were pitching horribly. Now, both have turned around in these 4 games. They've held teams to a lot fewer runs. The bullpen's been better, and they've been hitting a lot of home runs. That's a great recipe to win games.
Tigers beat Arizona 7-2 to sweep the series. By the way, newly acquired Chris Paddock, his first start, 6 innings, gave up just 1 run. Guardians get to 500 with the 5-0 win over Colorado. Rockies at the 2/3 pole are 28-80. So they're on pace to go 42-120, which would not be historically bad. Oh, would it be close? But they are on pace right now to win 42 games. The Royals tied a major league record yesterday. They used 9 pitchers in a 1-0 10-inning win over the Braves. 9 pitchers in 10 innings.
Is it an all-star game?
Salvador Perez with the game-winning hit in the 10th for Kansas City. Astros 9-1 over Washington. Altuve with 4 hits. Houston's lead is 5 because Seattle lost to the A's 5-4. Miguel Andujar with 2 homers for Oakland/Sacramento/Las Vegas. Mariners have lost 2 series in a row. That hasn't helped the cause. Texas with a 4-run 8th. Nathan Eovaldi, 7 innings of 1-run ball. Rangers 6-3 over the Angels. Jesus Sanchez with a 2-run homer, and that's all the Marlins needed. They beat St. Louis 2-0. They win the series. Mark, the Marlins are 3 games under 500 at the 2/3 pole.
That is so far above expectations. It's unreal. They're going to still sell today, but the young players have done a hell of a job this year, David. That's all. I mean, they're way ahead of where they should be this year.
They are comfortably in 3rd place in the National League East. Comfortably. Padres sweep the Mets 5-0. Yu Darvish gets his first win of the year. He has owned the Mets his entire career. It doesn't matter if he's 0-3 with an ERA of 7. You bet Yu Darvish against the Mets. Padres 3 back of the Dodgers, who lost to Cincinnati 5-2. Ohtani did have to leave the start in the 4th inning because of cramping. The Reds with the win are 3 back for the final wild card spot in the National League. Very dramatic game. It was 2-2, bottom of the 8th. Bases loaded, 2 out, 3-2 pitch. Guy hits one above the center field wall. The Dodgers center fielder goes up and makes almost one of the 10 greatest catches you'll ever see, but it ends up going off his glove and staying in the field to play for the game-winning hit. The Mets lost, but so did the Phillies. White Sox with 7 in the 7th, beat the Phillies 9-3. Chicago hit 4 homers. Phillies remain a half a game back of the Mets. Cubs take the finale of their series with the Brewers 10-3. Michael Busch set the tone. He homered on the very first pitch of the game. Milwaukee's lead in the Central is 1. Those 2 teams are 4-4 against one another. They play a 5-game series in August, which will, in theory, not only determine a lot, but it will determine the tiebreaker. We don't have Monday playoffs anymore. They play that series in less than 3 weeks. And the Giants have lost 6 in a row. They've fallen below 500. Pirates sweep San Francisco in the Bay 2-1 in 10 innings. NFL, we got a game tonight. Thursday night football. And as Mark pointed out, your next Thursday without football will be the 2nd Thursday in January.
The next month without football is March of 2026, kids.
The Hall of Fame game tonight, Canton, Ohio. Let's hope the Storms stay away. This game's had thunderstorm problem in recent years. Chargers and Lions. Getting it on 8 o'clock NBC. For those of you interested, Tirico, Collinsworth, and, what's her face with the open there? Raiders signed left tackle Colton Miller to a 3-year extension. Miller, who turns 30 before opening day, is now signed through 2028. They give him $22 million a year. They guarantee essentially 2 of the 3 years in the deal. Bengals release running back Zach Moss after a year. They save a little over $1 million on the cap. And Trey Hendrickson showed up at camp and said, nothing's changed. I just don't want to be a distraction. Hopefully the team will do the right thing. Okay. By the way, reports out of California at Cowboys camp. Adam Schefter saying yesterday negotiations between Micah Parsons and Jerry Jones have gotten personal. What the?
Well, by all accounts, from everything that I understand about this, is that Parsons and Jera kind of had the framework of a deal done. The agent stepped in and said, "Wait a minute, no. We need more guarantee, need more of this, need more of that." And the deal that was on the table fell apart. And from that point on, you're right. It's gotten personal.
The Seahawks, by the way, extend general manager John Snyder's contract through 2031. Wow. That's 7 more years as the boss. Damn.
Man, that's a hell of a buyout when they fire him. Oh, whoops.
I was going to say they haven't won a playoff game in a while. WNBA, Indiana without Caitlin has won 3 in a row. They beat Phoenix 107-101. How about that? You show up for a little 40-minute basketball game, 107-101. What is this, the ABA? Damn. Atlanta over Dallas, 88-85. Naz Hillsman with a game-winning 3 with under 3 seconds to go to win it for our buddy Semesco. And a good one in Minnesota. Mark, what did we say? The spread was 7.5. Lynx beat the Liberty by 7, 193. Ionescu with 31 in the loss. Nafisa Collier with 30 in the win for the Lynx, who are 23-5. NBA, have you paid attention to a couple of these off-the-court stories?
Well, the one in particular with the former NBA players, the one I've paid attention to.
So Gilbert Arenas gets arrested yesterday, charged with hosting illegal high-stakes poker games. Seriously?
With like an Israeli mobster?
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
right now,
it.
there is more to it, but I did just want to stop and go, really? We're arresting people for high-stakes poker games in the comfort of their own home? But apparently he is doing it with a leading Israeli organized crime figure and 4 of his associates. Damn, I want to be serving drinks at the next game.
Gilbert Arenas posted on X, "I'm back on the streets. This ain't got blank to do with me. Just rented the house. Wasn't a part," with a video of him dancing down the stairs leaving jail.
Meanwhile, Marcus Morris got arrested, spent 51 hours, no food, no water, no phone call, because apparently he was given a marker at a casino and he owed him $1,200 and he thought he had till the end of the month because he always did before, and so they arrested him. He's like, seriously? All the gambling I've done at this place for the last 10 years? You don't think I'm good for the money? You know what I made last year? Orlando and Memphis, by the way, in the NBA will play 2 games in Europe this season. January 15th, they'll be in Berlin. January 18th, they'll be in London. NBA announcing yesterday they're going to play 2 games a year for the next 3 years in Europe. Which happens first? If it were to ever happen at all, a European league in the NBA or the NFL?
I think the NBA makes more sense personally.
I agree. And going with Adam Silver talking about we'd have to do something to add money to the pie, that would add money to the pie. Golf, PGA Tour, the Wyndham Championship, the final event before the FedEx Cup playoffs gets underway today. Meanwhile, LPGA, they're still across the pond. They're playing the Open Championship right now in Wales. Allison Lee, the American, tied for the lead at 4 under. They are midway through the first round. And at 7 minutes before the hour mark, that was the starting 5. 5 big stories, and across the pond, the Open Championship here on Miller and Moulton.
The other story in the NBA that I did see is that Portland basically being told, you better get a new arena. Your arena is outdated. You need a new facility, or that franchise could leave Portland. That would be devastating to that city.
Wow.
Right.
It is true, though. They've been playing at the Rose Garden since, they came into the league 55 years ago. But damn, Miller and Moulton.
It's time again for the Miller and Moulton Fantasy Football Summit featuring Dr. Roto, Tuesday, August 12th, Shula Show Sports Cafe inside the Doubletree Bell Tower Shops, Fort Myers. Sign up at millerandmoulton.com. You get dinner and the expertise of one of the best fantasy players in the country, and Doc Roto will even give you a cheat sheet for your fantasy draft on your way out the door. Sign up at millerandmoulton.com. Tuesday, August 12th is our Fantasy Football Summit. Dr. Roto and you. It's a fun night, and we help you win your fantasy football.
For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to nolanagency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or nolanagency.com.
With summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floor Meisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floor Meisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dream Weaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from to fit everyone's taste. Floor Meisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
Got a cracked window or foggy glass? Don't wait for the next storm to make it worse. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business is just down the road and ready to help. From leaky frames to shattered panes, we've got the tools and the know-how to get your home or business storm ready. With flexible scheduling and our done right promise, you'll be in good hands. So before or after the weather hits, call your neighbors at Glass Doctor.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh yeah.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller and Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller and Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest, now try the best. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Michael, that's the best poll question I've ever seen. I've got to remember that. That is really good because I think pickleball may win just out of spite. That's excellent. We got to take one of them off because I only get 4, but that's funny.
Adam, that's tough right there. That is tough. Billy's not going to get the plays in time. He's going to have the wrong number of players on the field in the kicking game. Mario's not going to kneel when all it takes is to kneel to win. I mean, that's a very, that's a great poll question, actually. It's snarky as hell, but that's a great poll question.
That is good. Michael had a terrific one as well. Most annoying thing to be woken up to: roofers, garbage truck, landscaping, barking dogs. He had 5, and pickleball. And pickleball's going to make the damn list. That's all I know.
A week from tomorrow is National Pickleball Day. I'm debating whether or not to have a guest.
David, I'll leave. I literally will just walk off the show, and you're stuck if that happens. I'm telling you right now, that's worse than OJ's effing manager to me. First off, I've got to call the guest. I won't. I'll just tell you, they didn't answer.
Sorry, Moulton.
I can just tell you, don't do it.
It'll be like the fake drumming. Okay, Mark will do the fake. Okay, dialing is the fingers aren't even touching anything. Okay, he'll hold the phone for about 8 seconds, and then he'll go. It's producer lip syncing.
Pickleball.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on not just the final Thursday of July, it's the final day of July. But we got football tonight. Hall of Fame game for those of you that count it. Chargers and Lions. Trade deadline ends in 11 hours, 6 p.m. Eastern tonight. All the deals have to be done. Big deals yesterday. There were about 4 of them, but we've yet to have the blockbuster. Will we get it? Will we have the holy blank? They traded who?
Yeah. Who's the guy it would come out of nowhere. Because unless I'm missing something, as I've been watching the rumors and whatever, there aren't monster names out there. There's a big name and a Hall of Fame guy, and that the Giants said Verlander's available, but he's no good.
Right. He's, below average this year. There's no question.
He has 1 win. I know he's pitched a little better than that.
He
but
has.
There's been a lot of games when he hasn't. He's not good. This is his last year in the league, more than likely, David.
Yeah, I would hope so, to be honest. I would hope that this is it for Justin Verlander. But see, he's on the injured list, but I think Acuna was in play before he went on the injured list. Okay. The Braves were kind of hemming and hawing on that. I thought Acuna was in play. And I think there were a few teams that were willing to pay the price. I mean,
but obviously now that he's hurt, that's not going to happen.
I mean, if you're the Phillies and you have arguably the worst outfield in Major League Baseball, how would you not pay the price for Ronald Acuna? But, we'll see. We shall see. I mean, by the way, did you see the Angels made 2 trades yesterday? They were buying, not selling. The Angels. They won 3 in a row. They got to within 2 games below 500. And they said, you know what? We're 4.5 out of the playoffs. Let's go for it. I will say this. If they're within a Mahomes bomb of a playoff spot, they always go for it out there. Always. And it has never worked out for them.
No, it hasn't. But I'm not going to knock a team for trying. And I know I keep bringing it up and I'm beating a dead horse, but last year we watched, Detroit, we watched a couple of teams make late season runs to get into the postseason. The Angels right now are 4 games out of the wild card.
Right.
4. That's it.
Right.
And I know we're not allowed to talk about them because they're 3 games below 500. But the Angels, the Rays, the Royals are all below 500. 2 of those teams are 3 back of a wild card. 1's 4 back. They're not out of it.
Now, that's the one way to look at it. The other way to look at it is for the Angels to grab the final playoff spot in the American League, they have to leapfrog 5 teams. Okay, even though they're 2-3 games below 500, okay, they have to leapfrog both Seattle and Texas in their own division. They have to leapfrog both Kansas City and Cleveland in the Central and Tampa Bay in the East. Because Seattle and Texas right now are tied for the final playoff spot in the American League. So there's 2 ways to look at it. You're 4.5 out of the playoffs, but you got to leapfrog 5 teams in 2 months. Can you do it?
Probably not, but the division part of it to me is the easiest because you know they're going to play those teams a few times between now and the end of the season. The head-to-head games will be there. David, you're probably right, but I'll throw it back at you another way. So you're just going to tell your fan base again, I give up. Why go? Why even go to a game? They don't care. Why should I care?
But if you were running that franchise, and not to spend too much time on that team that nobody literally listening cares about, but
okay, let's use it in terms of the Rays. I can just take this right to the Rays. They're below 500. They're 3 games out of a wild card.
Right.
And they appear to be sellers.
Yes. Yeah, they're trying to have it both ways. Like they made 2 strategic deals yesterday, but they got themselves a catcher. They got themselves a guy that they think for the next 3 to 5 years is going to be an above average major league catcher who was blocked in the Dodgers organization by all-star Will Smith. And the Braves have not had a good catcher since, who was that switch hitter on the 08 team that went to the World Series, Navarro. Okay, it's the last time I think they've had decent. I mean, they had the one all-star year from the Southwest Florida kid who hit a bunch of homers. Okay, but I mean, they've had very few, literally in the last 20 years, they've had like 4 good seasons from the catcher.
So they got a catcher, but there's a good chance that Brandon Lau is traded today.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Very good chance.
He just came back. He hit a home run. He's arguably their best bat.
I think there's a chance, by the way, that the Rays trade somebody, kind of like when the Mets made the deal yesterday and the kid got traded in the 3rd inning. He was sitting in the bullpen. Mark, I think there's a chance the Rays trade somebody and they have to pull them from the field against the Yankees because the game starts at 1:10. So in theory, it'll go from 1 to 4. The trade deadline's at 6. I think there's a chance the Rays are literally pulling someone off the field during the game.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, I can switch this from the Angels to the Rays and talk about a team that we pay a little bit of attention to. And, and the Rays are in a completely different situation because the odds are they're going to sell the majority of their tickets the rest of the year. Hell, there's only 10,000 a game. But
you're right, Mark. There probably isn't, some people think it's Quan, the outfielder in Cleveland. It might have been Clase, okay, but he's obviously on the get paid suspended list. To the Orioles. The Orioles supposedly have 4 untouchables, okay? Do they maybe get rid of one of those untouchables? The Orioles haven't signed anybody, by the way. Remember 2 years ago, this guy took over and the thought was, oh, good, new owner. They got a great young roster and this guy will spend some money. He hasn't spent a dime. I mean, they did, try to replace Burns and they went out and signed 2-3 guys who have been horrible, by the way. But they basically spent the money they were spending on Corbin Burns and they then spent it on his replacements and they've sucked. But they have not spent new money, and they've not signed any of their young players to long-term deals.
That's the problem I'm seeing from those people that cover that team that I follow. We had a guest on a long time ago that's a big Orioles guy, so I kind of pay attention to what he says, and he's more upset about that than anything else. It's like, hey, okay, this season's a wash, but at some point, are we going to sign our core long-term? Because we think we have one.
Right. So,
and, back to the Rays, they don't do that, and they will lose. I think if you're a Rays fan, you're going to be ticked off at the end of the day. I really do. And a texter points out, and I hope they're right because I'll read it. He said the Braves were under 500 at the trade deadline in 2021 and won the whole damn thing.
They did, or they were right around 500, one or the other. They made 4 complimentary deals, and all 4 players were terrific. Now, I will say they won the division that year with 90 wins. They won the World Series that year. They had like 89 or 90 wins in the regular season.
Okay, well, let me just ask you that question, because right now the Mariners and Rangers are tied for the final wild card spot with 57 wins.
Right.
The Padres have the final wild card spot with 60 wins. What's it going to take to get in your estimation, in the American League and in the National League? I think obviously if the Padres are 3 games better, it's going to be a little higher in the NL.
I think 88 will get you into the American League.
So 90 in the National?
Yeah.
89, 90?
Yeah. 89 was the 3-way tiebreaker last year. 2 out of 3 made it in the National League. It was at 89 last year. I don't know if the Reds can get to 90. I think the Padres will.
Orioles fan just texted, by the way. He says, fan going back to 66. You hit that nail on the head. New owner, same wallet.
Yep.
And that's got to be frustrating.
Oh, my goodness.
And you know, I'll go back to the Rays again. It doesn't appear that the new Rays owner is going to act that way. But, man, oh, man, if that happens in Tampa, people will be really upset. I don't think it will. He's got to get a new stadium. He has to get it in Tampa. And in order to fill that stadium, you can't cheat the fans out of players.
So 10 hours, 49 minutes left in the trade deadline. There were a whole bunch of deals yesterday. Boy, did people have to give up a lot to help out their bullpens. I mean, granted, it's my team, and I follow them pretty closely. But the first deal that got announced yesterday by the Mets, I was like, wait a minute. They had to give up all that for him?
And the Phillies gave up a good chunk for the closer from the Twins, and he's
Now,
good.
But
I like that. I like that move for the Phillies.
Well, I love it for this reason. See, the Mets picked up 2 rentals, 2 guys in their 30s who are rentals. The Phillies picked up a guy who's not in his 30s, who's under contract for 2 years beyond this one. Now, they gave up 2 of their 5 best prospects. Okay, but they now have a closer through 2027, which will probably cover Harper and Schwarber and JT and Turner and basically their run.
How much time till the deadline?
That would be 10 hours and 48 minutes.
Which means it's 12 hours and 48 minutes until the kickoff of the NFL season. Albeit preseason football, but they're kicking the ball off at 8 o'clock in Canton. It is the crux of our poll question today. Preseason football begins tonight. How much will you watch? 13% of you, all of it. 47% of you, they'll check it out. 40% of you are in the David Moulton category, saying preseason, no way. Go to Miller_Moulton, the David Moulton, or that Mark Miller to vote. You can always text in your comments at 21,000. If you've not texted the show before, text the keyword Miller to 21,000. It's also the best way to get a hold of us if you'd like to sponsor the show. Lots of great opportunities coming up with football season as we're lining up our guests and our segments for the next 4 months. Lots going on with Miller and Moulton. Would love you to be a part of it.
Ryan Spaeder to talk baseball coming up in 25 minutes. Whit Watson, as this is the final event on the PGA Tour before the FedEx Cup playoffs. Ryder Cup team gets set in the next 3 weeks. Tour cards very much up for grabs. Guys on the verge of missing the playoffs who have never missed it before. Whit Watson to join us in 45 minutes about that. Miller and Moulton. Coolest thing we've seen today. Next.
With summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floor Meisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floor Meisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dream Weaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from that fit everyone's taste. Floor Meisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
Whether you're chasing peak performance, reigniting intimacy, or simply want to feel your best, Game Day Men's Health creates customized game plans to optimize your health. Call 239-427-3441 for our Bonita Springs and Naples location to set up your free testosterone test and consultation. Mention Miller Moulton Radio Show for 10% off your service. Find your maximum self with Game Day Men's Health, Bonita Springs and Naples, Florida. Call 239-427-3441 today.
Southwest Florida's scorching heat is on its way. Stay cool with Air Advantage. As a proud Rheem Pro partner, Air Advantage delivers top-notch air conditioning solutions to keep you cool and comfortable. Right now, enjoy 18 months, no interest, no payments on qualifying systems. Call 433-4635 today for expert installation and unbeatable comfort all summer long. Online at myairadvantage.com. Air Advantage. Call today, 433-4635.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Yeah, Brad, I got to be honest. I think you traded him for parts. Now, the trade you made with the Red Sox with Matz, the guy you got back, the first baseman, is somebody that Chaim Bloom drafted and liked in Boston. And he's in AAA, and the thought is that he'll be in the majors, today or tomorrow or very shortly. Because Cashman doesn't want a strong manager anymore. I mean, come on, you know that. I mean, they forced out Joe Torre. They forced out Joe Girardi. Forced out Joe Girardi when he lost Game 7 of the ALCS in Houston when the Astros were cheating. And to the Cardinals fan, I would just say, that you guys traded for potential because you didn't grab any of the Mets' top prospects in Double or Triple A. Everybody you got's like A-ball.
And the funny thing is, though, we can read into the trade deadline as much as we want, and I'll just use my Tigers as the example. They were sellers last year at the deadline and still went on that run.
Yeah.
Because they traded Flaherty to the Dodgers for a couple of guys, one who helped them out a ton, and they did what you wanted the Braves to do with Sale. They got him back in the offseason.
There was an interesting article I read, I think it was in The Athletic, in which they detailed last year's deadline and went through every deal and talked about how much did these deals actually help the teams. And as is usually the case, they didn't help them nearly as much as was thought at the deadline.
Right. I have taken some of the best naps this week of my life.
Awesome.
Now, it doesn't hurt the fact that they've gave me pain meds, and I don't ever take them before the show for my back, and I usually go home and knock one down, throw on the television, and night.
Boom.
But just great naps.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the midday nap.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Ryan Spaeder, a little more than 15 minutes to talk some baseball. Whit Watson at the top of the hour to talk some golf. Hall of Fame game for some of you kicks off the NFL season tonight. So our poll question is asking, how much of it are you going to watch? All of it? Some of it? None of it? I'm a none of it guy. Mark's a some of it guy.
And the funny thing is that my wife comes home from work every day. We'll have dinner. And at some point between 6 and 7, she'll just ask me, so what do you got to watch tonight? And most of the time in the summer, the answer is, I don't have to watch a damn thing.
All right.
And tonight, the answer will be, I don't have to watch a damn thing, but football's on. And she'll get excited. It is? Who's playing? And she'll be ready to go.
Yeah. I mean, it's Hendon Hooker. And who's the guy who can't play over?
Trey Lance.
Oh, yeah, Trey Lance. It's Hendon Hooker and Trey Lance. Come on, honey. Come on. Change into that outfit. Let's get comfortable. It's Hendon Hooker and Trey Lance. Ha!
I got to admit, I caught a little bit, and I was almost going to use it for the coolest thing I've seen today, brought to you by Air Advantage online, myairadvantage.com, or call today, 239-433-4635. That's 433-4635 here in the 239. 18 months, no interest, no payments. Sounds like a pretty good opportunity to me. They're a Ream Pro partner. Online, myairadvantage.com. I was for a moment because I got caught yesterday. I went and took my nap and had the Pat McAfee show on in the background. And I woke up and it was still on. And he was interviewing TJ Watt and Cam Hayward. When the crowd in Latrobe began chanting F. Myles Garrett loudly. I mean, loudly. And then they had Aaron Rodgers on, and he had Aaron on a ton, and, they're chanting Aaron Rodgers. And it just made me think of how cool that scene is. And I know the players all say the right things, and they don't necessarily love going to Latrobe. But that atmosphere is outstanding. And this isn't because my wife's a Pittsburgh person. It was this way when the Lions stunk and went to Saginaw Valley State University. The crowds were there every day. It was a big flipping deal to my hometown for the years that they hosted the Lions training camp. I never lived there during any of that time, but my family members would all go. And I get why the NFL teams do it, but when you see the atmosphere at some of these camps, I mean, yeah, the players probably don't like staying in the dorms, but when they come out during camp and are getting those type of receptions from their fans, it's got to make you feel good as a player. It has to. And maybe I'm just naive, but I think that's pretty cool. But it is not the coolest thing I've seen today. I'm going somewhere I've never gone for this segment before today. I'm going to Singapore, and I'm going swimming. Because Katie Ledecky is amazing. She won, and I guess, David, she must have taken some off, because if I've looked this up right, she's won the 1,500-meter freestyle at the World Championships 6 consecutive times. But her undefeated streak in the event is 15 years. So she must have missed a World Championship. I don't know if it was a COVID year. I don't know the reasons why. But she finished in 15 minutes, 26.44 seconds. The gal who took silver was 5 seconds behind her. And the woman from Italy who had the silver set the European record with that performance. Katie Ledecky has 25 of the top 26 times in the history of the event. In the history of the event.
And she's in her late 20s, isn't she? Which is, is considered getting up there for an Olympic athlete.
It was her 22nd gold medal at the Worlds, her 28th overall. If you add that to her 9 Olympic golds and 14 overall, she has 42 Olympic and world records, 31 golds. It is absolutely remarkable.
She's 28 years old, which means to make it to the next Olympics, she will have to make it to age 31.
And if she can win the 1,500 at 31, wow.
While winning it as a teen?
Yeah.
Yep.
And she even said that's the first race that she broke her first world record. She did that in 2013.
Hello.
So that's the coolest thing I've seen today. Brought to you by Air Advantage. Online, myairadvantage.com. Myairadvantage.com.
Someone in the Twitch chat room said, David, I'm watching all of the game tonight. It's been so long since we've had football. For the record, it has been 171 days since you saw the Eagles humiliate the Chiefs. 171 days. So there. Now, obviously, the Eagles and the Cowboys don't play for another 35, so that gives you an idea as to how many days it is. It's over 200 days from the Super Bowl to the season opener every year. And for college football, it's around 220. How many days you wait. You going to be okay with week 0 becoming week 1?
Yes. Yes, I am. I think, first off, it doesn't matter living in Florida like it matters in other parts of the country. It just doesn't. I mean, I know it's true. It's good. It's hot here. It's hot in September. Right. It's hot in October, for crying out loud.
Right. School starts in a week and a half in most places in the state.
Right. So it's not like when I grew up in Michigan and we started school the Tuesday after Labor Day.
Right.
And Labor Day was, the unofficial end of summer. So it's not that way here. I also think they have to move the last week up. Sorry, Army-Navy game. It's just, they're a victim of circumstance in this, and that's going to happen. So I'm not bothered by it. I hope, my hope, David, is we get to the SEC 9 conference games by then. We start playing, strength of schedule matters more, getting in the playoff, that we allow a 9-3 team in by then so we get games. But if you're going to give me a bunch of Alabamas versus Western Kentucky, no, I'm not interested in week 0.
Okay. Now, help me out here. So if we move the season start up a week and we're not adding a 13th game, then does the weekend after Thanksgiving become conference championship weekend? So now big rivalry weekend is the Saturday before Thanksgiving? I mean, it has to,
Now,
right?
Not necessarily. I mean, no, they can just move those rivalries back to Thanksgiving weekend like they've always been, and that's your last game.
Well, but then think about it. You're basically, why are we starting a week earlier? To add a bye week? That makes no sense. I mean, the reason to start a week earlier is to get more of December for yourself away from the NFL for the playoffs. It's another reason why I'm against moving it up a week. I don't want rivalry Saturday to be the Saturday before Thanksgiving. I want it to remain Thanksgiving weekend. Now,
And-
of course, we could get rid of the SEC and the Big Ten title games and just go straight to the playoff. Huh?
Well, we've got to have those play-in games, David, because that's what the nation's clamoring for. I mean, they are.
Right.
Tony Petitti's right. We can't wait to see Ohio State play Iowa for a second time in a 3-6 matchup.
Listen, Petitti's getting all the grief. Sankey's right there going, Tony, you get all the grief. I'm right there with you. I want it too.
Ryan Spaeder next. For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to nolanagency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or nolanagency.com. American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
When Glass Doctor replaces your windshield, we don't just send you on your way, we send you off protected. Your local Glass Doctor includes the industry's only 12-month windshield protection plan at no extra cost. That means unlimited chip repairs and even a one-time replacement if needed. High-quality service backed by real peace of mind, right here in your neighborhood.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Exclusions apply. See your local Glass Doctor for details.
Summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floor Meisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floor Meisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dream Weaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from to fit everyone's taste. Floor Meisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Yeah, we have Puck. For the most part, he goes into the YouTube chat room. To be brutally honest, there's a lot of people that have switched to YouTube. And I think you all know why.
Is it because it's free?
They're both free. One, YouTube's a lot easier for people. You know, I mean, YouTube, if you're watching at home on your big screen, if you will, the YouTube app is not that the Twitch app isn't readily available, but you usually have to go download the Twitch app, whereas the YouTube app is one of the pre-programmed ones for most people that have, you know, Fire TV or whatever the case may be. And they already use YouTube for other things, so it's easier. People are just used to it. All right, time to, well, not yet. Tell you what, the preseason obviously does not mean as much as it used to because we just got word from Trent. I texted him at the beginning of our show. He's not going tonight. We already sold our preseason tickets. I was pretty fired up about that.
Wow.
I left him a message, but no answer from Spaeder. Calling again.
Great.
Oh for 2. I'm going to text him now.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. We hope to catch up with Ryan Spaeder and talk some baseball with the trade deadline 10 hours and 22 minutes away. You know, Mark, I don't want to say flippantly, but you just threw this out there a moment ago in which we were talking about who's buying, who's selling, who's holding. And you said, you know, the Marlins seem to be in a similar spot where the Tigers were a year ago. And we all know what happened in Detroit. They actually sold off a couple guys and, well, started winning. Because for whatever reason, all the young guys gelled at the exact same moment and shazam. Mark, Ryan Spaeder sent out a post about 10 o'clock last night. The Marlins, on the morning of July 31st, are 7 games back in the race for the National League wild card. They're trailing 4 teams. The Tigers, on the morning of July 31st last year, were 7.5 games back, trailing 5 teams. Miami is 3 games below 500 with 55 games left. He said Detroit was 3 games under 500 and 9.5 back with 33 games to play, which was how epic the finish was for the Tigers last year. But Ryan Spaeder, at least throwing out there, if this young team is gelling years ahead of schedule, they are in the exact same position the Tigers were in a year ago. We'll see what happens.
But obviously, you look at those last 33 games for Detroit, and what they did is not realistic for most teams. It just is.
No.
There are heaters, and then there's what Detroit did last year. So,
right. Well, it's like the Braves in 21 when they won the World Series. I think in their last 42 games, they went like 31-11. You know, they're playing 500 ball for 3/4 of the season. And then, oh, by the way, they're the 27 Yankees, who I did not see play, by the way, for the record. All right. My mother would not let me cut from school so I could see the 27 Yankees play, just for the record. 21,000 on the text line. Anything that's on your mind, whether it's baseball, whether it's football. Hey, there's preseason action tonight. Maybe you're just waking up this morning, you just feel better. You feel different. You've got a little spring in your step. The hitch in your giddy up is gone. Because we've got football tonight. You'll hear Carrie Underwood tonight.
at least makes the Open worth watching.
Yeah.
I mean, if nothing else, to tune in at 8 just to get the Open.
Yeah.
And David, you may have a snack or two in front of you. And one of those snacks today should be guacamole, because today is National Avocado Day, David.
Oh, for goodness sake.
And I may put it up as a secondary poll question. Guacamole, are you in or are you out? Because you hate guacamole.
Hate.
I don't know how. It's a wonderful, wonderful treat.
Hate.
And it reminded me when I saw that this morning, because I go to it's nationaltoday.com. It has all the stupid holidays. And every once in a while, I can steal a poll question. So it's one of the things I look at around 5:30 every morning. And I started laughing because this goes back to our first act. We were on in the afternoons, and Cowboy great Moose Johnson joined the show to pump up this company by the name of Holy Guacamole.
Holy guacamole.
And that's what David would say. And when you do a lot of these interviews, particularly with a company that's an upstart company that has spent a lot of money to get these endorsers, they're listening. They want to make sure that their product is being properly talked about in these interviews, that they send out PR pieces, and all these interviews are scheduled. And literally, my guess is Moose Johnson was on the phone all day.
All day.
Doing 10, 15-minute hits with stations nationwide.
Yep.
But what did he have to get in, David?
Holy guacamole.
And one of the things, when David and I joined forces over 19 years ago, David said, hey, when we get these interviews, I get this sponsor crap out of the way right from the hop. It calms down whoever's being interviewed. They know they don't have to talk about that anymore, and they generally open up. And David was 100% right. But we also got into the guacamole thing that David didn't like it, and he just kept yelling,
Holy guacamole.
And the Holy Guacamole people, I think, may have used our interview on their website. They loved it. So much so that 2 or 3 days after the interview, a giant, and I mean giant, styrofoam cooler arrived at the radio station to our attention. And it was full of holy guacamole.
Holy guacamole.
And we still couldn't get David to even try it. Now, have you ever tried an avocado, or the fact that it's green and a fruit bothers you so much you're afraid to do it?
Well, no, I've had it. That's how I know it's horrible. Okay, here's how much I dislike guacamole. There is not much. When you put food on a plate, there are very few food items that can rub up against the stuff that I love. And because that food item has now made contact with it, I'm like, well, I can't eat that. There's virtually none. I will not eat something that has made contact with guacamole. It might be the only food item that I have that rule for.
Are you serious? I mean, I don't think avocado's got that much of a taste where it could ruin something else.
Hate it. Now, I will say, okay, since things have changed here in the last year, I probably should try it. But no, hate it. I can't read you the text that my mother has sent 2 texts during this holy guacamole discussion, describing how she visualizes and what she thinks of guacamole. And we are totally on the same page. I cannot share those texts with the show.
Well, I mean, the advanced palate of the Moulton house, I am not surprised here.
Right. But Mark, during the commercial breaks, however many years ago that was, and I mean, we went over the top. And when I say we, I mean me, because Mark ends up playing the straight guy, and I go right off the 10-meter diving board. And I start saying to Moose Johnston, who I don't know if we had ever had on the show before.
We had never had on the show before.
And I start saying to Moose Johnston, hey, you know, when you're on the sidelines on Fox, okay, you should throw it back to the booth and go, holy guacamole, guys. You know, when something happens and you see something exciting on the field, that should be your thing. Holy guacamole. But Mark is like, you do know they're going to make you like their spokesperson, and you hate it. You're going to have to lie. You're going to have to take promo pictures of you eating their product. Okay. We're going to have to destroy some tapes to destroy the fact that you're saying I hate the product. Okay. And meanwhile, I'm like, I may hate guacamole, but Mark, you've never had holy guacamole.
And it didn't end. So with that in mind, I have put up a secondary poll question.
Oh,
and I actually put the answers, David, so you would enjoy them.
Okay.
It's National Avocado Day. Do you like guacamole? Yes, it's great. No, it sucks. And that was for you. By the way, speaking of teams that are going to suck, the ACC media poll came out. And while I don't think they say the Seminoles are going to suck, they've got them picked 7th in the conference. Clemson, number 1, obviously, getting 167 of the total votes. I always love the first place vote part of this. The Canes are 2nd. They got 7 first place votes. SMU 3rd. Georgia Tech 4th. They both had 2 first place votes. Then it goes Louisville, Duke, Florida State, who got 4 first place votes. As much as I want to know who didn't vote for Ichiro, I would love for the people who voted Vanderbilt, Florida State, and Virginia Tech, picked 11th in the conference, but yet got a first place vote. How bad are some of the college lapdog media? I mean, come on.
I was surprised pleasantly that no one gave North Carolina a first place vote.
They are picked 8th ahead of your Pitt Panthers, who are 9th, David. Boston College, another team that you think's going to be better than what they're advertised here, picked 13th. But the Seminoles picked 7th. Do you think? I think that's pretty accurate for the record. I think if they end up finishing 6th ahead of Duke and they're behind the other 5 teams, and then if they end up being ahead of Georgia Tech or Louisville, then I think the Seminoles had a hell of a rebound here.
Here's where image can really come back and haunt you, Mark. Let's just say Florida State finishes where they're picked to finish in that poll, 7th. They finished behind Duke.
Yeah.
Explain it to a Florida State fan how the season was actually okay. I mean, especially if it's a 7-5 season, but you lost to the Canes, you lost to the Noles, you finished behind Duke in the ACC standings. Sell it to a Florida State fan.
I don't know how you can, David.
Even though, better than maybe we thought it was going to be. And coming off a 2-10, win 5 more games the next season. Okay. But Mark, think about it. If they go 7-5, and let's give them losses to Alabama, Miami, and Florida. So they win 7 of the other 9. Tell me who some of those wins are against.
Well, and I'd put Clemson in there as a loss too.
Okay,
that's 4.
So they go 7-1 against the rest of their schedule.
That means they will have beat Pitt. They will have won at NC State, who is not supposed to be good, but Florida State. You talk about Notre Dame going to BC. I'll talk about Florida State going to North Carolina State. Okay. They've had good teams that have struggled going to Carter Finley. Other than that, David, to be honest, they should win the rest of the games. East Texas A&M, that's a W. Kent State, that's a W. At Virginia, it damn well better be a W. Pitt at home, that would be the big win. At Stanford, they're going to suck. At Wake Forest at home, they're terrible. Virginia Tech at home, they're not good either. So they should win the rest. I think 8-4 is what they need to go to keep their fan base at bay.
Okay. All right. I will say Stanford, as you mentioned, picked last. Wake picked second to last. Virginia picked 4th to last. And this is where we need to mention the Indiana Hoosiers. Last year's great story. And Indiana didn't they write a check for like $500,000 to break the home and home
with
arrangement
Virginia? With
Virginia, preseason 14
in the ACC.
And Indiana won't do a home and home with Virginia.
Embarrassing.
They're too good.
It's embarrassing. And don't give me, Scagnetti there at the pressers. We're just doing the SEC model. No, you're a joke. You're a joke. And if they have a great year this year, I hope that the committee uses their schedule against them finally.
Oh, well, I think they will. I would be surprised, specifically that school. But, it's not just that Indiana lost in the playoffs. Indiana got humiliated. 2 late touchdowns to make the score still humiliating. Indiana was bad. So I think it will be used against other teams. Also, SMU did not have a good playoff performance. And for 3 of the 4 quarters, they didn't have a good ACC championship game performance either. I think it will be used against certain programs this year, Mark. Last year's Indiana and SMU finish.
Yeah, and Illinois could be one of those teams that it's used against. I really think that they are someone that could be held against them because of it. We have a sidebar poll question. It's about guacamole on National Avocado Day. Person on the text line says, I hated guacamole until I had it made tableside. Now I like it and hated it just like David. Touched anything, it was pushed to the side. But he's on the guacamole train. Are you? That Mark Miller, the David Moulton, Miller _ Moulton. Whit Watson next.
It's time again for the Miller and Moulton Fantasy Football Summit featuring Dr. Roto, Tuesday, August 12th, Shula Show Sports Cafe inside the Doubletree Bell Tower Shops, Fort Myers. Sign up at millerandmoulton.com. You get dinner and the expertise of one of the best fantasy players in the country, and Doc Roto will even give you a cheat sheet for your fantasy draft on your way out the door. Sign up at millerandmoulton.com. Tuesday, August 12th is our Fantasy Football Summit. Dr. Roto and you. It's a fun night, and we help you win your fantasy football league.
Southwest Florida's scorching heat is on its way. Stay cool with Air Advantage. As a proud Rheem Pro partner, Air Advantage delivers top-notch air conditioning solutions to keep you cool and comfortable. Right now, enjoy 18 months, no interest, no payments on qualifying systems. Call 433-4635 today for expert installation and unbeatable comfort all summer long. Online at myairadvantage.com. Air Advantage. Call today, 433-4635.
With summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floor Meisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floor Meisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dream Weaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from to fit everyone's taste. Floor Meisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Think we only fix windows? Think again. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business does so much more to upgrade your home. We custom build stunning shower and bath enclosures, install sleek glass doors and windows, and can bring fresh life to foggy or cracked panes. Need a glass tabletop or a statement mirror? Yep, we do that too. If it's glass and it's in your home, we're the team to call.
Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh yeah!
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Did you see the catch Yastrzemski made yesterday?
Unbelievable.
Holy blank, I just saw that.
I actually was going to it was of consideration for coolest thing of the day, but it's hard if we were more of like McAfee where, I could throw it on the screen and most people were watching that way.
Oh my goodness. For those that didn't see it, Mike Yastrzemski plays right field for the Giants. Got the foul line, and then they have like a, 3-foot high wall, 3.5. And then from that wall to the grandstands is like, 6 feet of dirt. Yastrzemski glides over to the wall for the foul ball and doesn't come to a complete stop, but times it perfectly that he leaps over the 3.5 foot wall. And as he's hitting the ground behind the wall, makes the catch. Wow.
No, Irish is full of class. He's just a chicken shit. If he wants to bash me when I'm not there, that's chicken shit. That's what that is. It's nothing else. He's a punk. An absolute punk. And I don't know if he's 26, 46, or 66, but he's a punk.
Holy guacamole.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Halfway home in the 239 and the 904. Final hour of the show, Lake City, Live Oak and surrounding areas, Port Charlotte, Venice and surrounding areas. Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. A couple of poll questions up there. NFL preseason action tonight. You going to watch all of it, some of it, none of it are your choices. And then it's National Guacamole Day. Thumbs up or thumbs down? Mark is 2 thumbs up, to quote Siskel and Ebert. Moulton is it can't suck enough. And we put Whit Watson on the clock right now. Whit, guacamole, yes or no?
100% yes. That's a yes for me, dog.
Every single time. That way, Whit. I love it. All right. David and I were always monster fans of Q School when Q School got you right on tour. Even before that, we were monster fans of the old Disney tournament when it was about keeping your card. Well, This week is that for a lot of players. There are some big name players who have to perform well to make the playoff. So I like this tournament maybe more than the FedEx playoffs because there's so much more on the line for players.
That's true, although with the change in format, it's no longer the top 125 because you've got the fall series now, right? So it's the top 70 after this week's Wyndham Championship that goes to the FedEx Cup playoffs, which is a money grab. It's they have a chance to make a lot more money. Right. They keep their cards, etc. Those that are in the top 125 still have the fall events, the events after the Tour Championship, to try to claim status. So, and by the way, as an Orlando guy, I'm with you. I loved Disney. I thought it was so cool because it was a combination of a relaxing end of the year. All of the players brought their wives and their kids because it was Disney World.
Right.
And yet their mortgages are on the line because they've got to finish in the top 125 to keep their card. The first event that I ever attended as a Golf Channel staffer was Disney. And I interviewed Gary Christian, who was Mr. 125, and kept his card that week. And we became coworkers since. But it's a little different now. It's not quite as end of the world. But yeah, at this time of year, if you're a golf nerd, there are livelihoods on the line, and it's it can change your career one way or the other.
By the way, Whit Watson, and I think most of you know this, broadcasts golf, whether it's ESPN Plus, NBC, Family, and the Golf Channel. He has a golf show, which you can hear on the iHeartRadio app. It airs live Saturday mornings in Orlando and Jacksonville. It's called Making the Cut. Making the Cut with Whit Watson, who you can follow on X at Real Whit Watson. I mean, Whit, I understand we may only have a 5 or 6 footer on Friday to make the FedEx Cup playoffs, or maybe on Sunday to make the FedEx Cup playoffs. But, Mark and I always thought, like Lee Trevino always described pressure. Pressure isn't a putt to win the U.S. Open. Pressure is a $10 putt when you have $5 in your wallet. I mean, when you had those 6 footers, at Disney, and it literally was the difference between keeping your tour card or not. I mean, we always thought that Q School, should have been televised like a major.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, I've been everywhere, man. I've televised medicine too. I've worked at school when it was out in Indian Wells, in California, and that was probably the most nervous I've ever been watching a competitor play, because of exactly that. It was the difference between having your tour card and not. And you would have guys making excruciating double bogeys on the last hole of the 5 or 6 days of Q School, and just watch them go into a public meltdown, just, absolutely crash.
Right.
But on the flip side, to keep it positive, now there are a lot more opportunities for those players that don't make the PGA Tour. There's a lot more opportunities to play. You've got the Korn Ferry Tour, you've got PGA Tour, Americas, whether it's Latin America or Canada or South America. There's a number of other opportunities to get some reps. It's a daunting task because the travel is expensive, and there's no guarantees. But there are increasingly more places to play than simply the Korn Ferry /Nike/buy.com/web.com tour.
Well done to get all of those in. That may be harder to do than name all of the different names of what is Hard Rock Stadium where the Dolphins play.
Geez, I can't get past Joe Robbie. That's all I got.
That was always my favorite, Whit. I mean, you bought the team, you built the stadium. What are you going to name? I'm going to name it Joe Robbie Stadium.
Put your name on it. It's Whit Watson Stadium.
Damn right. Damn right. Hey, is Chris Goddard, what does he have to do, in your estimation, to be on the Ryder Cup team? Because he's obviously incredibly hot right now, but it's a month run, and that doesn't make a Ryder Cup team. However, you want the hottest players. So in your estimation, what does he need to do? Because he's not playing this week. What's he need to do next week, and I guess the following at the BMW, to earn a spot on the Ryder Cup team, or is it something that's unobtainable?
No, it's not unobtainable. I think he's got to win between now and the deadline. I mean, he's 20th in the Ryder Cup standings. And interestingly, Keegan Bradley, who is playing this week at Wyndham, is paired with Andrew Novak, who's 13th in the standings, and Ben Griffin, who's 9th. Now, that's not an accident. Those are two guys. Griffin in the top 12, if it ended right now, would qualify for the Ryder Cup. I don't know that anybody is completely sold on Ben Griffin as a Ryder Cup player. Similarly, Andrew Novak's had a great year. He's 13th. He's one behind Brian Harman, who's 12th, who I think is going to be on the team. I think that Brian Harman is going to be a captain's pick because he's got the pedigree and he has the mentality, and he's one of those guys that you want in the foxhole. Goddard at 20 is ahead of players like Tom Hoge, Tony Finau, Denny McCarthy, who's the best putter on the PGA Tour, Akshay Bhatia, Jordan Spieth, Billy Horschel. So these are guys that, had they played a little bit better, would be contenders for a captain's pick. I think, to answer your question, Goddard needs to win or have a really, really hot run during the postseason to be considered for a captain's pick. because there's other guys out there that have resumes, to your point, that are longer than 1 month long that I think Keegan Bradley would look at. And by the way, not that you asked, Keegan Bradley is 10th in Ryder Cup standings right now. What is he going to do? I mean, if his job is to build the best team, doesn't he have to put himself on it if he continues to play this well? Hand off some of the administrative duties to Jim Furyk and Brandt Snedeker and the rest of his staff? That, to me, is a really intriguing question in the next couple of weeks.
All right, got about 5 minutes left. You mentioned two guys that I'm fascinated by. Brian Harman, because I agree with you. I think he will be a captain's pick because of his pedigree. But he's short, and that's a long course. And I'm thinking match play, I got to put a bomber with him. I'm fascinated by the concept of putting Goddard up with Harman. Not an alternate shot, but in best ball, and saying, go after it, because one guy's a bomber who can really roll it, and the other guy's a short-hitting machine. I think they'd be a fascinating Ryder Cup team in best ball. But you also mentioned Jordan Spieth. And, yeah, okay, Spieth shoots a crazy 1 under 71, but he makes 5 or 6 birdies, and that's 71. I mean, Whit, nobody makes 20 and 25 footers consistently like Jordan Spieth, and nobody misses more putts in the Ryder Cup than Team USA. There's a part of me that's intrigued, okay, not alternate shot, but for best ball, Spieth's going to give me 5 to 7 birdies around.
He will, but putting him on the team, he's 27th in the standings.
I know.
So putting him on the team means you are giving the middle finger to a lot of good players who have a good resume for the last 2 years to get to this point. And, you know, I think there is some kind of there's a permanence bias because we're so accustomed to seeing Jordan Spieth on Ryder Cup teams and President's Cup teams and seeing him in contention in majors. Again, Keegan's job and the job of his coaching staff, Furyk, Kevin Kisner, Webb Simpson, Brandt Snedeker, Gary Woodland, their job is to field the best team today, not the best team 2 years ago, the best team now. But to your original premise about Harman, he is short. The U.S. being the host, they can set up the golf course to favor whatever kind of hitter they want to favor. Of course, if you do that, you're also favoring a similar player on the other team. I love the idea of putting him with somebody who can bomb it. I'd be curious. I mean, Keegan's already said that DeChambeau is going to be on the team. He's already said that flat out. DeChambeau's 5th in the standings right now. So who do you put DeChambeau with? I mean, maybe you put it with Harman. You know, there's a lot of. This is the fun part of this part of the second guessing season before the Ryder Cup is trying to figure out who's going to be on that roster and who do you pair him with.
Well, and you said, I'm going to use your quote and then give you a question. We field the best team today. In fielding the best team today, should Colin Morikawa be on that team?
I know. God, that's tough, isn't it?
It is.
Morikawa is 8th in the standings. Justin Thomas is 7th. And, I mean, their best performances in the last month were on Happy Gilmore, too. And let's be honest. I mean, you know, they're just not – they're not to their own standards. And especially Morikawa is openly searching. I mean, he's grinding. He's been changing caddies, changing putters. He's having a hard time and been kind of public about it. I think that might be a deal where I think he's established enough street cred and enough of a resume where Bradley may go to him one-on-one and have a talk and say, look, man, you know, you're 8th in the points. I'd love to have you. How are you feeling? You know, are you ready for this or not? And then Morikawa may have to kind of look in the mirror and decide if he's ready for this or not. But, yeah, those two guys, we talked about this on the show in Orlando last weekend. Thomas and Morikawa at 7 and 8, you know, seemingly that's chalk, but given how they played, it's not. And that's going to be a tough question for that for Bradley's staff.
Making the Cut is the name of the show. It airs Saturday mornings in both Orlando and Jacksonville at different times. So the safest way to hear it is the iHeartRadio app. He's Whit Watson, ESPN Golf Channel. Follow him on X at Real Whit Watson, Real Whit Watson. Hey, when the team comes out, can we talk?
I would love to. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And happy guacamole day to all who celebrate.
Real Whit Watson voting with Mark. Big thumbs up on the guacamole. Miller and Moulton.
For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to nolanagency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or nolanagency.com.
With summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floor Meisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floor Meisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dream Weaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from to fit everyone's taste. Floor Meisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Whether you're chasing peak performance, reigniting intimacy, or simply want to feel your best, Game Day Men's Health creates customized game plans to optimize your health. Call 239-427-3441 for our Bonita Springs and Naples location to set up your free testosterone test and consultation. Mention Miller Moulton Radio Show for 10% off your service. Find your maximum self with Game Day Men's Health, Bonita Springs and Naples, Florida. Call 239-427-3441 today.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Just look up Yaz catch, Michael. And I believe, David, correct me if I'm wrong. What?
No, I'm listening.
Did you say something?
I didn't say anything.
Oh, sorry. Because Virtue asked if he said that he could not leave the field. In foul territory, you can, right?
Yes.
But he went into the bullpen, so how's that still a catch?
Well, but it's still it wasn't in the stands. Okay, and which you're allowed to go anyway.
Yeah, if you go out, like if he would have caught that, if he was trying to save a home run and he went over the fence, is it an out or a home run?
Well, I think it's a home run, but
they call it an out, right?
I think they do.
And
I always thought, like when Torrey Hunter and that Ortiz grand slam, okay, that when Hunter went flipping over the short wall, I thought that would have made it a slam. But
right.
so since he caught the ball, bad golfer, 6 inches before his butt hit the ground, it's okay. To me, it's okay anyway. I mean, can't you go into the second row and make the catch? It's a remarkable catch, though.
Oh,
It's like, wow. That is the beauty of baseball. Ho hum, 1-1, 2 bad teams, 6th inning, and you see something like that.
but this also goes back to the ball not being in play nearly as much as it used to be.
Yeah.
think it was Smoltz I saw have a really interesting take on it. He's like, basically brought up Nolan Ryan and how hard he threw. And it's like, he was a freak. Not everybody can do that. We're taking away the art of pitching. It's just throw hard and spin it. But yes, it is, Michael. But it was a pretty interesting take that he had.
And Michael, remember, it's Yaz. It's Y-A-Z. Yaz. You can misspell the rest of it, but you got to get the first three letters.
And all you got to do is Y-A-Z catch. It's going to come up.
I forget who it was. I think it was Pete Rose on a post-game show, Irish, who was talking about the difference between being a 250 hitter and a 300 hitter is a hit a month, a hit a week. That if you think about it,
Bull Durham. That's the line from Bull Durham.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's a hit a week. You know, 500 at bats, 250 hitters, 125 hits.
Yeah.
300 hitters, 150. It's a hit a week. Because Pete Rose talked about it. He goes, and that's why I grind.
But it's not that 300's the new 250. It's the swing and miss. The strikeouts have never been higher. The ball's not in play nearly as much as it used to be. So while the batting average has disappeared because they want more home runs, the ball is not in play. That makes the game less exciting. There are less double plays. There are less diving catches. There are less everything when the ball's not in play. It's become fast pitch softball.
And it's a shame because the game's never been more athletic also. Obviously, these are the best athletes that have ever played.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. If we could just do 2 more minutes on what we just discussed, and I don't mean guacamole, yay or nay, on National Guacamole Day, thumbs up, thumbs down.
It's actually National Avocado Day. I don't mean to correct you, but we went to guacamole on it because, David, fun fact for you, was texted into me at 21,000. There are 500 different varieties of avocado.
Holy guacamole!
Fantastic.
I'm going to do that the rest of the day.
That's fine.
Know that.
And I love it. It's why I wanted to have it as a secondary poll question.
I'm going to go to the doctor's office in a few hours. I'm going to say it at least once there. I have to decide, do I say it in the waiting room with others around, or do I save it just for the private consult? Okay. I'm going to freak my mother-in-law out in the middle of the afternoon. I'm just going to look at her and go, holy guacamole. She may fall out of her chair, but yeah. Okay. So anyway, 2 years ago, and I know that just as the audience often does, just humor me 2 minutes, I swear. If it's longer than that, it's because Mark has gone longer with it. So the U.S. Ryder Cup captain is Keegan Bradley. 2 years ago, he finished 11th in the Ryder Cup point standings. And the captain didn't take him. There's 12 guys on the team. He only has to take the top 6. Those are guaranteed. He has to take them. Picks 7 through 12 are up to him. And they didn't pick Keegan Bradley. He was crushed. Emotional, crushed. A year later, they make him Ryder Cup captain. Now he's got to make the picks. Don't you find it fascinating? Because Keegan, and he hinted at it 2 years ago, Keegan kind of felt that guys 7 through 12 should have been on the team, that we earned it, okay? That this was BS. I should have been on the team. So now, does he just do chalk? Does he just go 7 through 12? Or is he going to do to, even if it's one guy, Mark, never mind, he could do it to multiple, but will he do to others what was done to him?
And the other part of it, does he sacrifice his own spot to put someone else on? When he was named captain, they told him they were hoping he would play his way into being a player captain. When you look at the list, I love your point about Spieth. I do, David. I'm actually probably lean more on your side than not. I do, however, think it's unrealistic to think that Spieth's going to make the team based on where he is in the standings.
Agreed. What if he could play his way into the top 20? Like you and I right now are pretty high on Gotterup. We would seriously consider Gotterup. He's 20th. Spieth's 27th. What if in the next 3 weeks, Spieth has one top 3 finish and plays his way into the top 20? He makes putts.
David, there is no question, none whatsoever. I can't argue with the thing you're saying. He makes birdies.
Yes.
He makes his doubles. He hits some screwy tee shots. I would not ever in a million years let him play alternate shot.
No, never.
But
never.
I'd let him play in 3 matches because in match play, double bogeys and bogeys don't mean anything different. You just lose the damn hole. And if you're going to make 5 birdies, there's a pretty good chance you can win 5 holes. You win 5 out of 18, you're in the game. Trust me, not that many holes are won. A lot are pushed. But to me, David, it's 3 players that I'm more interested in than Spieth and even Gotterup. Patrick Cantlay, he's 14th. I know he's slow. I get it. But he's a good player, and he's got the pedigree. Wyndham Clark, the locker basher.
Right.
He's 16th. And Lucas Glover is 17th. Of the guys in the top 20, those are the guys, because Andrew Novak, if he finishes 13th, ain't making the team.
No, he's not.
He's just not. No. Sam Burns at 15th. He's not making the team. And Daniel Berger, I don't think so. Cameron Young, 19th. So, it's guys like Maverick McNeely, who's had a hell of a good year. But do they trust him enough to put him on a Ryder Cup team? And the other point that I would make to all of those captains and vice captains is, what you've been doing hasn't worked. So I don't know why you're so worried about pedigree, because you've been getting your ass kicked in this event.
Okay. Can I throw one? I'll channel my inner Tim Brando here. One big fly in the ointment. Oh, it's louder than that.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Oh, it's louder than that. Mark, you do know who Scotty Scheffler's best friend is, don't you? It's Sam Burns. And I mean best friend. Like they and their wives vacation together. You know what Spieth and JT and Ricky were when they partied together, and then they even vacationed together with their wives. Okay, Scheffler and Burns are close.
That means a lot. You know what, David? That's a really valid point. Because if the Americans are going to win at Bethpage, Scotty Scheffler's got to be Scotty Scheffler. And Scotty Scheffler has to play in all 5 matches, in my opinion. Write it down. Don't do this stupid crap that these guys seemingly do every year. We got to get everybody in. We need a participation pro. No, we need to win the damn Ryder Cup. How do the Europeans do it, David?
Whoever's hot
their
plays.
Damn horses.
Whoever's hot plays.
There are guys on the European team you won't see until Sunday.
Yeah.
Every year or every other year, but you know what I mean.
Yep. Or you'll only see once before Sunday. Yep. Because they're just giving a guy a rest. Maybe so-and-so only plays 4 matches this time instead of 5.
But trust me, Rory's playing every match. Every match.
But think about it. It's his best friend in the world. He's 15th on the points list. He's a top 25 golfer in the world. I mean, he's not a bum. Okay. And did I mention he's Scheffler's best friend in the world?
Not
Well-
even close, by the way. This is Spieth and JT. Remember, that was the team. And that's why 2 years ago was the big controversy. Were they going to leave JT off the team? Because Spieth and JT together on the course were money. They beat everybody.
Well, and I think it goes back to what Whit said here about Colin Morikawa. I thought Whit that was a terrific answer, in my opinion. Because Colin Morikawa, to me, if you're picking the best 12 right now, Colin Morikawa is not one of the best 12 golfers heading into the Ryder Cup.
No way.
He's not.
No way. I would look right at him if I was Keegan and say, dude, if you don't give me a top 10 finish in one of these 3 events, I can't pick you. Seriously, I can't pick you.
And really one of the 2 events, because to me, the Tour Championship doesn't matter, and I don't think he's playing this week either.
Well, then, okay, if he's not going to play this week, then yeah, if I was Keegan, I'd say to him, dude, you got to put a top 10 on the board, or there's no way I can pick you. You've sucked since losing Arnie's tournament in March. You've sucked. The Ryder Cup 6 months later. That's a lot of bad golf.
I'm with you,
right.
David. I'm with you.
The best friend, though.
No, that's a great point. It really is. And will Scheffler push for him? I would think that those captains are at least talking to the top 4 guys a little bit about what their thoughts are. Maybe they're not, but I would be trying to get as much information as I can. Speaking of information, we have 2 poll questions. Not 1, but 2 poll questions today. The Hall of Fame games tonight, how much will you watch? Most of you answering, you'll check it out, to the tune of 54%. 38% of you say no way. And it's National Avocado Day. Do you like guacamole? 67% of you say yes, it's great.
Think we only fix windows? Think again. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business does so much more to upgrade your home. We custom build stunning shower and bath enclosures, install sleek glass doors and windows, and can bring fresh life to foggy or cracked panes. Need a glass tabletop or a statement mirror? Yep, we do that too. If it's glass and it's in your home, we're the team to call.
Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh yeah.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
With summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floor Meisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floor Meisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dream Weaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from that fit everyone's taste. Floor Meisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
David,
Yes,
look
sir.
at the last post from Super 70 Sports. It was like 9 minutes ago. It should be up on your timeline. Because it's not worth me telling you. Without the picture, it doesn't work. It's not funny. Your gal teed off about 45 minutes ago. I read it every day, Michael. Every day I look through a different team or a different article. I read it every day. That funny.
That is funny. Eurythmics. Oh, I'm sorry. It's Brenda Warner.
Oh, God,
funny.
that's good.
Annie Lennox is 70, by the way. 70 and born on Christmas.
Wow. Always liked her a lot. What a voice.
Yeah. That's very funny.
It really is.
So I think it's going to be Rich Eisen and Kurt Warner doing the Chiefs Chargers from Brazil.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm, I guess Eisen's done a few on NFL Network, so.
Right.
Just saw a thing in my emails that I get a Tampa Daily one, that apparently the estimated repair costs for the Trop were $56 million. Yeah, that's gone up.
Yeah, no kidding.
Right.
Wait a minute. Construction cost overruns and construction delays? What?
In Florida?
In anywhere?
Well, yeah.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Having a lot of fun on this final day of July. We got a lot going on. Busy show. After all, it's the baseball trade deadline in 9 hours and 22 minutes. We got a Hall of Fame game tonight in football, so it's helmets and shoulder pads. The new phone books are here. Been 171 days since the Eagles walloped the Chiefs, and many of you have just been waiting just to see helmets and shoulder pads again. By the way, 4 weeks today, start of the college football season, as far as we're concerned, that Thursday heading into Labor Day weekend. 5 weeks tonight, the Eagles host the Cowboys. But it's National Avocado Day.
Yes.
National Avocado Day. So we ask the question simply: guacamole, thumbs up, thumbs down. Mark's a huge thumbs up. I'm a huge thumbs down. Thumbs up is winning. It's going to win. But please vote. And the Hall of Fame game tonight. I mean, come on. You know it's crap. It's garbage, but it's the garbage we love more than all other garbage in America. It's football. Hendon Hooker and Trey Lance. I mean, nothing says July like Hendon Hooker against Trey Lance. And will you watch some of it, all of it, none of it? That's our poll question. That Mark Miller, the David Moulton, Miller_Moulton on X. Go to millerandmoulton.com. Download any part of the show you missed, like our interview with Whit Watson on the American Paint Supplies Hotline, the one-stop shop for all your coating needs. And while you're there, sign up for our Fantasy Football Summit. It's coming up August 12th. That's a week from Tuesday. Shoeless Joe's, Bell Tower Shops, Fort Myers, Dr. Roto, dinner, Miller and Moulton, and you. Dinner starts at 6. The event starts at 7. It's a good time, and you will learn more about fantasy football for a draft and for your season than you've ever learned before. Guaranteed.
Well, the good news so far today from an NFL standpoint, unless I've missed it, I've not seen any more injuries from yesterday pile up. Yesterday, it seemed that all we did was talk about players getting hurt and being done for the year. The Miami corner, the Cleveland corner. So, thus far from yesterday's practices, I'm not seeing a lot of terrible stories. And that, to us, and I'll watch tonight, I'll have it on. I can't help it. I'm guilty. It's helmets, it's shoulder pads, it's a Hall of Fame game. I'm going to put it on. I'm sorry. It is what it is. But I'm with David that the only thing that matters in the preseason are the injuries. And none of the injuries that happen tonight will matter because none of the players playing tonight will make the team. Maybe a couple. That's about it. You're not going to see familiar names tonight. Don't expect to. I mean, what do you have? Probably 15 guys, a team that will actually make the team that play tonight, and they'll all be backups and special teamers?
Yeah, my guess is you'll see Saturday draft picks tonight. Maybe you'll see some third-round draft picks tonight, but they're considered second teamers for the Lions and the Chargers. But because also remember, they get an extra game. This isn't one of their 3. This is one of their 4. So there is no reason to play anybody worth a damn tonight for the Lions and the Chargers. Hey, I'm not being controversial. You know me. I don't do shtick. I mean, I may be a shtick, but I don't do shtick. So if you're Jera or you're Mike Brown, so the top 5 salaries heading into this season for pass rushers. See, you can't count Watt at $41 million. He ain't making that till next year. So when you're figuring out the franchise tag, Mark, okay, you have to, next year's franchise tag will be determined off of this year's salaries. And even if Hendrickson gets a deal and Micah gets a deal, the likelihood is it will be for 2026 and beyond. But tell me if you could play this game if you're Jera or Mike Brown. I'm going to do this as quickly as I can. Miles at 40, Danielle Hunter at 35 and change, Max Crosby at 35 and change, Nick Bosa at 34. So that's 71.1. That's 111.1. That's 145 for the top 4. And Josh Allen of the Jags comes in at 5 at 28 and change. So, Mark, you're talking about 173 and a third, basically, for the top 5 guys divided by 5. What do you get? That's $34.6 million a year. So that should be the franchise tag for Trey Hendrickson and Micah Parsons for next year, 34.6. If you're Jera and Mike Brown, you don't have to look them in the eyes and say it. You could just decide yourself. Screw them. We'll do the tag game. I'll pay Micah 34.6 next year. Okay? He can complain all he wants. Okay? Be the 5th highest paid guy in the league, by the way, at his position. Actually,
34.6. Yeah, he'd be behind because next year Watt starts making 41. He'd be behind Watt, Myles Garrett, Danielle Hunter, Max Crosby. Now he'd be upset, but I mean it is 34.6 million, and it's fully guaranteed. And then what's it? 15% on top of it the next year,
Right.
So
it's another
38,
4.5. So yeah.
38. So it's basically, if you want to go tag with Hendrickson and Micah, it's basically 2 for 72, 2 for 73, fully guaranteed. And then do you just turn around at the end of 27? I mean, in Hendrickson's case, what will he be? 33?
Well, see, there you go, David. That is where you were leading me to with that. One, I don't think Jarrah will do that, even though the reports are that it's going backwards between the two sides. Jarrah pays his players. He does. The track record's there.
Yeah.
Brown doesn't. I mean, what the Bengals did with Burrow and Chase and Higgins is very un-Bengal-like.
Yes.
And you mentioned Trey Hendrickson's going to be 31 here. If you look at it logically, why wouldn't the Bengals go that route? Seriously. Now, yes, Hendrickson could sit out the whole year this year. He could. That's on him. I don't think at the end of the day, a player is going to cough up. What's he making this year?
16.
16. I mean, it's chump change to what he should be making. We all agree on that. He should be getting paid more. But if you are the Bengals, you could easily take that tactic.
I mean,
tag again. And then, David, his career is going to be on the downside after those 2 years.
He will,
most logically.
Yes, he turns 31 in December of this year. So if you're the Bengals and you go tag, and by the way, that means you'll get 3 more years of Trey Hendrickson for $90 million. Fully guaranteed, every dollar, every time once you tag a guy and he accepts it, that money's fully guaranteed. He can get hit by a bus the next day. Doesn't matter. But you'd get 3 years of Trey Hendrickson, the years that when the season ends, he's 31, 32, 33, $90 million. And if you lose him after that, I mean, you're playing hardball. You're a bit of a blankety blank. You are. Okay. But so you could, if you were Mike Brown, you could see yourself doing it to Hendrickson.
If I'm going to try to be Mike Brown, yeah, I wouldn't. If I were running the Bengals, I would try to make my best pass rusher on a horrific defense happy heading into this season. I truly would. I'd try to get him his money. I'd try to get him a signing. You're going to extend him for 3 years. You're going to guarantee 2. It's virtually the same money you're talking about, but you're probably going to give him a bunch of money and a signing bonus up front to subsidize the 16 he's making this year and make the player a little more happy. That's how I would handle it. But if you're putting me in the shoes of Mike Brown, maybe the cheapest owner in the league, the franchise thing has to be talked about.
Now, Micah's 26.
Bingo.
And he turned 26 in May. So he's going to play this year at 26. And if you go tag, okay, that means Micah will be turning 29, turning 29 when he is an unrestricted free agent.
And he'd be gone.
Oh, yeah. Well, sure. He'd be so angry with the Cowboys, he'd never have anything to do with that organization again while Jarrah was still alive. Yeah. And as we all know, he'd have to play. I mean, you're losing serious coin in 26 and 27. You're losing $2 million a week. In fact, the 15% is actually closer to 40 million. So it's around 72 for 75 on top of what you're making now. Okay. But if you're Jarrah, could you do that with could you do it at least once and then try to repair the damage, if you know what I mean? Feel good. Because I can make the case, Mark, business-wise. I get Micah next year for 34.6. That's a bargain. If I signed him to a deal. Now,
the way it's structured may not be a bargain because it's a flat 34.6. You can't do anything with it. You can't distort it. It's
Right.
boom. But
And with
that's
what you're giving Lamb and what Dak's getting,
right.
that's putting your big three, if you will, into that danger zone of the cap that you hear Pat Kerwin talk about on our show so often, that they'd be well over 30% of their cap with 3 players. And that's a dangerous spot to be in as an organization.
But you could argue, if by chance you look at your cap and you're like, yeah, we can afford it, that 34.6 is 4, 5, 7, 8 million less than what you'll probably end up paying him with a new deal. But just curious, because usually it very rarely gets to this point. But I'm just wondering, with either guy, would you be prepared if you own the Bengals and or Cowboys to, you know what? I mean, you get 7 years of Micah Parsons. And then, yeah, he goes sign 29 through 32, 33, signs 4 or 5 year deal with somebody else. I mean, isn't that Von Miller? I mean, can't you argue?
And who got the best years out of Von Miller?
Right.
I mean, what he was after he left Denver was not the guy he was there.
No, I mean,
not close.
Is it ironically, is it DeMarcus Ware all over again, in which Ware helped Denver win a Super Bowl? But DeMarcus Ware wasn't the player he was in Dallas. Now, I think the Cowboys got like 9 years out of him, but I don't know. Just wanted to bring it up. Wanted to do the math and show you what next year's cap should be based on the figures we have for this season.
By the way, happy birthday to Marcus Ware. He's 43 today.
Hot damn.
You know what he probably is going to have on his birthday?
Avocado.
Probably going to have some guacamole, David.
Well, then you know what? He's not nearly the player I thought he was.
Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com. It's where you pick up any of the show you may have missed. Couple of poll questions today, and I led David right into one there because it is National Avocado Day. And David hates everything to do with avocados, particularly guacamole. So I ask, do you like guacamole? Right now, nearly 69% of you are on the guacamole train.
Holy guacamole!
The other question is preseason football. How much you going to watch? 57% said they'll check it out. 8% of you are going to watch the whole thing. And 36% say, yeah, I'm not interested at all. It's preseason football. That Mark Miller, the David Moulton, Miller_Moulton on X to vote.
I got to admit, I would, if I had 1 minute with Jera, I would look at him and go, Jera, do you disagree with this premise? The cap is going to go up 7 to 10% a year for the foreseeable future. And I'm sure he'd have to agree with it. At which point you'd say, okay, so next year's cap's going to be either 290 or 300. Okay. And then the 2027 cap is going to be, and we could just do the math, 310 to 330. And then the 28 cap is going to be, and you could just keep doing the math. But if I'm right about 10%, by the way, the next 3 salary caps are 300, 330, 360 and change. And if I'm right about the next 4 caps, 300, 330, 363, and 400, I'd look at Jera and go, Jera, and we haven't even torn up the CBA and negotiated a new deal. This $360 million in 3 years could be $450 million. This Micah contract will be potato chips. Do the deal. What are you thinking? The bonus hour of Miller and Moulton's next.
It's time again for the Miller and Moulton Fantasy Football Summit featuring Dr. Roto, Tuesday, August 12th, Shula Show Sports Cafe inside the Doubletree Bell Tower Shops, Fort Myers. Sign up at millerandmoulton.com. You get dinner and the expertise of one of the best fantasy players in the country, and Doc Roto will even give you a cheat sheet for your fantasy draft on your way out the door. Sign up at millerandmoulton.com. Tuesday, August 12th, is our Fantasy Football Summit. Dr. Roto and you. It's a fun night, and we help you win your fantasy football league.
Southwest Florida's scorching heat is on its way. Stay cool with Air Advantage. As a proud Rheem Pro partner, Air Advantage delivers top-notch air conditioning solutions to keep you cool and comfortable. Right now, enjoy 18 months, no interest, No payments on qualifying systems. Call 433-4635 today for expert installation and unbeatable comfort all summer long. Online at myairadvantage.com. Air Advantage. Call today. 433-4635.
Defining a new era in men's health. Get stronger and healthier at Game Day Men's Health. With our in-house laboratory, get in, get treated, and get back to your passion and purpose. Call 239-427-3441 for our Bonita Springs or Naples location to set up your free testosterone test and consultation. Mention Miller Moulton Radio Show for a 10% discount on your service. Start living your best with Game Day Men's Health, Bonita Springs and Naples. Call 239-427-3441 today.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floor Meisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floor Meisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dream Weaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from that fit everyone's taste. Floor Meisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to NolanAgency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or NolanAgency.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
which would take the cap to 291, to 311, to 333, to 356. That would be to finish out the decade. So the league says the cap will go up a minimum of 7% a year for the foreseeable future, which means today's cap will be $85 million more by 2029. I think the good over-under Feeney's 1.5. But of course, we don't know how long they're going to play. I would say the first half. I would be willing to go an over-under on interceptions in the first half.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the bonus hour of Miller and Moulton on this final day of July. But what comes with it is the baseball trading deadline in 9 hours and preseason football tonight, the Hall of Fame game. Are you in? Yes? No? A little bit. I'll have it on. That's a poll question. It's also National Avocado Day. So we ask you thumbs up or thumbs down on guacamole. Guacamole is going to win. I'm curious as to whether or not it can get to 70% approval rating or not. That's what I'm curious about.
Not a chance. Not a chance. It'll stay about 2/3.
Okay, well, I mean, that's close.
That's close. But I mean, it's risen as high as 68. It goes back down to 64. Every time you hate on guacamole, your guacamole haters come out in droves with you.
Holy guacamole!
Exactly.
Are they still in business? Okay.
You know what? I think so, but I'm not positive.
Should we send them a tape? Anyway, they were in business like 15 years ago. They signed up Moose Johnston heading into a Super Bowl. So we signed on. We said, yeah, we'll hawk your product if we can talk to Moose. And boy, did we hawk it. And the funny thing
looks like it's still there.
All right.
Looks like it's still there, David. They made it. Looks like they made it.
Well, that's a whole other song. No reason to bring Barry Manilow into this, Mark. 21,000 on the text line. Feel free to chime in Twitch and YouTube chat rooms as well. I'm wondering what kind of a day we're going to get with the trade deadline. Because, I mean, the Mets got 2 relievers. The Phillies got a closer. Now, I will say this. Phillies do need an outfielder. I mean, I don't know if just getting Duran from the Twins is going to get them out of the National League. Don't get me wrong. The back end of their bullpen's been terrible. Their starters have thrown more innings than anyone else because they have such little faith in their bullpen, and also because their starters are really good. But their save percentage is in the bottom 25% of baseball. Okay, their bullpen basically is viewed as like somewhere between 24th and 27th in the league. They've blown, I think, tied for the most saves in baseball, which, considering how few times they've asked their bullpen to get the saves, is alarming. So don't get me wrong. It's a very significant acquisition. But, Mark, that outfield is streaky awful. And we talked about this. We think every team that's going to make the playoffs in the National League, Dodgers, Padres, Brewers, Cubs, Mets, Phillies, they're all flawed. They're all capable of winning 3 series and getting to the World Series. I think the Phillies need to get an outfielder.
And I've said it all along, Texas needs a couple of bats, but I'm not seeing a whole lot about Texas getting bats. I'm seeing more about Texas trying to free up some salary so they can acquire bullpen arms.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I don't either. You know, the Tigers are looking for bullpen arms.
That I get.
The Red Sox, to me, are interesting of what they may do today.
Well, yeah, because apparently the Astros are like throwing themselves at the Red Sox to take Duran off their hands. And he had 4 RBIs yesterday. And if you're Boston, you're in the playoffs right now. Why would you get rid of anybody right now? You want to get rid of somebody in the offseason? Fine. One of your young guys. But why would you do it now? And what are you doing it for exactly? I don't get it. So I do think Brandon Lau gets traded today by the Rays. And that's...
Did he end up in Texas?
That's a decent bat, Mark. Houston,
yeah, it is.
Houston, Texas. Okay. I think Brandon Lau gets dealt today by the Rays.
And I've seen Houston's in play for Alcantara. We'll see what the Marlins do today. And you brought up such an interesting point because their young players have really overproduced this year. Should the Marlins just stand pat and think that if they continue with this progression, they could be in the mix next year? It seems hard to believe with their payroll to compete with the Phillies and the Mets and the Braves just in their own division. And obviously the Braves had everything go wrong this year. So I think the Marlins are, not in terms of winning a championship, but what the Marlins do today, to me, David, is significant about what they think about their future. So we shall see.
Well, we know who the sellers are. The sellers are Baltimore, they're Arizona, they're Minnesota. Hell, there was talk of Correa to Houston last night. Now, Correa doesn't think it's going to happen, but, Suarez did just go back to Seattle. And Arizona did send him back to Seattle. Could Correa go back to Houston?
It's been talked about. I've seen it a few times. So, yeah, that could happen. The team that I'm probably most surprised about is why the Royals have been buyers. Why? It doesn't make sense to me.
Because the Royals actually think they're pretty good. The Royals made the playoffs last year. The Royals won a playoff series. The Royals gave the Yankees a hell of a best of 5. And the Royals think they're pretty good. They love their starting pitching. And they think that if they made the playoffs, they would be a very tough out. They're very good defensively. And they're athletic. They're not as good as the teams in 2014 and 2015. Those lineups were much deeper than this lineup. They have a superstar. Okay, well, he's a star. Superstar is one that moms recognize. He's not a superstar. But,
but in baseball terms, he is.
He's one of the top 10 players in the game in Bobby Witt Jr.
Yep.
He's amazing. So, and the Royals, I'll say this, Mark, and we've talked about it. When you're a small to at best mid-market team, if you think you're got a pulse, don't you have to stay in? Because how many times, Mark, in the next 10 years, the Royals can't consistently think they're going to threaten for the playoffs every year with what they spend. They can't think that.
Yes and no, because who in their division spends money?
Oh, that's true.
It is the one thing about being in the AL Central. Nobody spends any money in that division. Nobody. The Guardians are incredibly cheap. The White Sox are years away from being a competitive ball club. The Twins are pretty cheap. And the Tigers have shown they've been cheap. Since Ilitch passed and his kid took over, they've not spent any money. And they've got the biggest decision in their franchise coming up of whether or not they can extend Skubal. The odds are he goes to free agency because his agent's Boris. But does Detroit throw the massive contract in front of Skubal and let their fan base know we're in it for the long haul? Because Ilitch wasn't afraid to spend money.
Well, Mark, along those lines, okay, don't you then make a big, bold move today if you're Detroit? This could be your last postseason with Skubal. You may be forced to, in the offseason, to trade him. Because if you throw the big offer at him, or if our offer is never going to be good enough to keep his services in a year, do we just keep him and then lose him for nothing? Do we keep him, see how we are next year, and possibly trade him at the deadline like Cleveland did many years ago with CeCe? This could be the last playoff run that Detroit has with Skubal. Don't you make a bold move today if you're Detroit? Come on now. The American League's very good. I don't even know if it's very good. This is about as down as the American League has been this century. Come on now. Don't you make a big play today?
I would. I would. I'd be calling the Marlins about Alcantara and add another starting pitcher, move one of your back end arms to your bullpen to fortify that. Kind of like what the Reds did, picking up the pitcher from Tampa, adds another starter. They move someone back. They think it's going to help both their starting pitching and their bullpen. And if the Reds are actually buyers at the deadline, how can you be the Tigers, the Royals, the mid-market teams who are not?
And the Reds were buyers yesterday. They made
Right.
2 deals. They got a young third baseman who's apparently as good a defensive third baseman as there is in baseball. Not that great a hitter, but the Reds, Francona, big on defense. And he's got De La Cruz at short, and he thinks the left side of his infield now is secure for the next, through the rest of the decade.
The Cubs added a starter yesterday. What else do the Cubs and or Brewers do today?
Well, I'd understand if the Brewers don't do much because their payroll's $108 million. But, the Mets and Phillies gave up significant prospect hauls yesterday for relievers. I mean, if you're a Cubs fan, aren't you looking at your team going, come on, guys? We're trying to beat the Mets, the Phillies, the Dodgers, and goodness knows the Padres are always aggressive. I mean, come on. And potentially, we've got to win 3 playoff series just to get to the World Series? You sure we couldn't use some, reinforcements here? We're the Cubs. We've got $10-12 laying around. Do something.
And will the moves made today, and you brought up this earlier in the show, David, how much will they actually help the teams that are trying to get to the World Series? Because you look at the 6 teams that are right now playoff teams in the National League, and David, who are the Dodgers right now? Would the Dodgers be the favorite? I don't think they'd be a huge, significant favorite with what their current roster is.
Not until they get healthy. And Mark, to prove your point, the 6 teams that right now are in the playoffs in the National League are separated by 4 games in the loss column. Milwaukee, the Cubs, the Mets, the Phillies, the Dodgers, and the Padres are separated by 4 games in the loss column. That's it. Tell me the National League is not a free-for-all.
Absolutely. Great text, by the way. Texter says wrong. The Cleveland, and he said Indians, spent a lot of money in the AL Central. It's just not on the team. It's with the bookies. For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to NolanAgency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or NolanAgency.com.
With summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floor Meisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floor Meisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dream Weaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from to fit everyone's taste. Floor Meisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
Defining a new era in men's health. Get stronger and healthier at Game Day Men's Health. With our in-house laboratory, get in, get treated, and get back to your passion and purpose. Call 239-427-3441 for our Bonita Springs or Naples location to set up your free testosterone test and consultation. Mention Miller Moulton Radio Show for a 10% discount on your service. Start living your best with Game Day Men's Health, Bonita Springs and Naples. Call 239-427-3441 today.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Well, JDR is a long-suffering Mets fan. The Mets have only won one close division race in franchise history. 73. 69 was a runaway. 86 was a runaway. I could go right through it. 2000, they were a wild card. 99, they were a wild card. 06, it was a runaway. 2015 was a runaway. But 84, 85, 87, 89, 90, all close, finished second every time. 07, 08 to the Phillies. Historically, the Mets do not win these really close division races. 2022 to the Braves, finished tied, lost the tiebreaker. I mean, they owe the Phillies from 07, 08. They do, but yeah, JDR, I'm 59. You and me both, baby. It's funny. My daughter asked me an interesting question last night. She said, if I can give you two teams, but only two teams, that you are allowed to be emotionally engaged about for the next year, who would they be? And like her husband said, the Green Bay Packers and some European soccer team.
Jesus.
I know. Man City, I think. And I said the Rangers and the Mets.
Will you ask your son-in-law that if he really emotionally with Man City or Man U or whoever, really?
I know. I couldn't believe he put them ahead of his beloved Sacramento Kings. I mean, Man City. Man City. I know. And his stock was rising so rapidly in my eyes too.
You might as well just bring over a plate of guacamole to you today, David.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes after the hour. Miller and Moulton sometimes make it tough on Miller and Moulton. More Miller making it tough on Moulton because I'm the one that talks coming out of every break. And sometimes Mark will say something seconds before we're coming out of break that makes me, lose it. Now, I didn't spit up or anything, but that was funny. That was. So I kind of have to regroup here. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. By the way, the subject matter so that it's not an inside joke. My daughter, out of nowhere last night, my daughter sends me a text. She says, hey, I have a poll question for you. And it wasn't really a poll question, but she says, I got a poll question for you. I went, okay. And so out of nowhere, now she's 7 months pregnant. So, we got to cut her some slack. I mean, honestly, there's a lot going on right now. But she turned to her husband and she said, hey, I'll give you two teams that you could be, quote, emotionally impacted by, unquote, for the next 12 months, but only two teams. Who would those two teams be? Which is interesting because I think most of us are fans of more than two teams.
Right. If you're just a fan of a city that has four, you're eliminating two.
Right. Never mind a college team.
Right.
Right. So, but she said, listen, here are the guidelines. You can get emotionally invested, bent out of shape about two teams for the next 12 months. Who would they be? And I got to admit, my son-in-law is a good guy and a really doting husband and father, and he's awesome. And his stock has been rising steadily. And then one of his two answers last night was Manchester City. What?
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
But think about it, though. If we asked it,
Can I ask you, did he play soccer growing up? Is he like a lifelong soccer player?
I don't think so. And not only that, he is a bent out of shape Florida State fan. He's a huge Sacramento Kings fan.
I know he's a big NBA guy. That I knew.
Yes.
And I get that people have jumped on the European soccer thing. Seth is just pathetic with his love of Arsenal. Drives me crazy.
Right. Now,
we know spent his whole life in baseball now loves Arsenal more than the entire league.
Right.
It's confusing to me.
Right. So those were the two teams he picked, Man City and the Packers. I was like, huh, okay, wow. Pushing Florida State to the side, pushing Sacramento Kings to the side. And he loves his Kings. He buys that NBA League Pass. He stays up late and watches West Coast games. I mean, you know.
Right. Think about that.
Right. Which was not good in courting my daughter, but, you know, made me a huge fan of him. I'm like, that's the type of guy you got to marry right there, honey. So, but now this whole Man City, you know, in the top two, that's very disheartening. Next thing you know, he's going to tell me how much he loves guacamole. But anyway, holy guacamole. So then it got me thinking, though. My daughter's like, well, you come on now. You got to give me your two. And so I said, well, you know, I got three teams who have had long championship droughts. But I'll give you the Mets and the Rangers. 86 and 94 the last time they won championships. I was 20 and 28.
I have thought about this from the second you've asked the question, and I've had a hell of a time determining what my answer would be.
Well, I know one of the two would clearly be Michigan State, but you would have to differentiate. I would think you'd go basketball ahead of football.
Here's the thing. You said in the next year. That means a year from now, I get to choose two other teams. Michigan State's picked somewhere between like 13th and 15th in the Big Ten.
In football.
Right. So I have absolutely, that's no.
Right.
No, I can push that to the side.
But Michigan State hoops would clearly be one of your two.
I don't know.
By the way, they just got their point guard of the future the other day. He chose.
I'm aware. I'm aware.
Over big boys, by the way, he chose Michigan State over.
But my first love was the Detroit Tigers.
Okay.
I mean, that's the first game of any substance that I was ever taken to by, you know, my mother and father when I was a little kid. Right. Was lucky enough to go to games on Michigan and Trumbull many, many times.
Okay. So,
and then it would be between Michigan State basketball and the Detroit Red Wings. And I love hockey. And I really got into the Wings last year.
No, I know you did. So you got to choose one. Michigan's, you know, I mean, Izzo or Hockey Town.
It is so close.
I know.
That is a great question because I don't know. My immediate answer is the Red Wings because I'm only going to start paying real attention to Michigan State basketball for 4 weeks.
But they're big. Hell, they've renamed the month after them, for goodness sakes.
I know.
But now I'm enjoying some of the answers in Twitch and YouTube. I do find it fascinating, those who say, like, you know, an answer here, Barcelona and the Panthers. I'm assuming that's the Florida Panthers, but that's a international soccer team. Okay, that's interesting to me.
And, you know, to me, the Red Wing Michigan State thing is there are other hockey teams that I like watching. I cannot watch the Red Wings and still love hockey, if you know what I mean. I'm not the same way with college hoop. So that's a tough one. 21,000 is our text line. Obviously, people chiming in on YouTube and Twitch, and we appreciate that as well. We've not talked about this story at all yet.
Okay.
Really at all. And I hate bringing it up with just a couple minutes left in the segment. But the Christian Wilkins being cut story, we mentioned it when it happened.
Yeah.
We have not mentioned it since apparently he kissed someone on the forehead, and that was the last straw.
Yeah, I didn't know. Was it forehead or top of the head?
Forehead, top of the head, somewhere on the cranium, David.
Right. And apparently the guy got really bent out of shape about it.
And went to HR, apparently.
Went to HR. I mean, with all
out of the locker room.
I know. See, I think that the Raiders are the GM and the head coach had nothing to do with signing Christian Wilkins. And I think they saw his rehab as a way to get out of his contract. They were trying to get out of the guaranteed money. Then after whatever took place in the locker room, they said, hell, we'll just cut him.
And now they're trying to cut him without paying him, though.
Right, a dime. Correct.
They think that their grievance will stand up. The NFLPA has already filed suit on this. I think he gets paid, by the way.
I do too. Here's what's interesting to me. There has to be physical concerns with Christian Wilkins, though, because how come no one signed him? Come on.
No one, to my knowledge, has even brought him in.
I mean, when healthy, he's clearly one of the 10 best defensive tackles in the league. He's 29 years old. I mean, seriously? Seriously. I mean, even if he starts the year on the PUP list, he does 4 to 6 weeks on the PUP list. We can rattle 10 teams off right now who are like, I'll take you mid-October. Tell me So that, to me, there's some talk that's out there that foot injury hasn't healed and he's going to need a second surgery and may miss the entire season. But don't you, if you're a team out there, don't you have to bring him in and kick the tires?
Like maybe the Miami Dolphins?
Like a lot of teams.
Oh, I know, but
Washington couldn't stop the run last year.
Let's just stay in the state. Which team in Florida, if he's healthy by week 8, David, which team in Florida wouldn't he help?
Well, obviously he'd help all three.
Right.
But I would rank them in order: Dolphins, Jags, Bucks in terms of need. But, the Jags couldn't stop the run last year. They gave up over 5 yards a carry. Christian Wilkins wouldn't help, even if he shows up in Columbus Day.
So I am fascinated by all ends of this story. A player going to HR over a locker room incident, that doesn't happen very often.
No.
The Raiders trying to get out of paying him, that one's going to be interesting as well. Miller and Moulton.
Whether you're chasing peak performance, reigniting intimacy, or simply want to feel your best, Game Day Men's Health creates customized game plans to optimize your health. Call 239-427-3441 for our Bonita Springs and Naples location to set up your free testosterone test and consultation. Mention Miller Moulton Radio Show for 10% off your service. Find your maximum self with Game Day Men's Health, Bonita Springs and Naples, Florida. Call 239-427-3441 today.
Southwest Florida's scorching heat is on its way. Stay cool with Air Advantage. As a proud Rheem Pro partner, Air Advantage delivers top-notch air conditioning solutions to keep you cool and comfortable. Right now, enjoy 18 months, no interest, no payments on qualifying systems. Call 433-4635 today for expert installation and unbeatable comfort all summer long. Online at myairadvantage.com. Air Advantage. Call today, 433-4635.
Got a cracked window or foggy glass? Don't wait for the next storm to make it worse. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business is just down the road and ready to help. From leaky frames to shattered panes, we've got the tools and the know-how to get your home or business storm ready. With flexible scheduling and our done right promise, you'll be in good hands. So before or after the weather hits, call your neighbors at Glass Doctor.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
This
sound.
is Miller and Moulton.
And by the way, David was right earlier, exactly right. It's 50 hits. It's one hit, one more hit for every 20 at-bats is the difference between 200 and 300.
Right. And the difference between 250 and 300's 25 over 500 at-bats. It's a hit a week.
Oh, I wish I was on a plane tomorrow heading to San Francisco. 3 days of Dead and Company in Golden Gate Park. That will be a scene. I've got to say, for all of you bourbon drinkers out there, I just saw a ad for basically you can make your team's logo in ice molds for your football team. The Bills one looks pretty cool. The Steelers is a little plain, but the Bills one looks pretty badass. Got to admit. Ryan did text back very apologetic.
Oh, okay.
It's funny. He says, hey, Mark, second time I've gotten you guys. Sorry to miss our call. I had something come up at work. No day job, no cell phone as I work in a secure area. Blah, blah, blah. Lost track of time. I feel terribly to throw off your schedule. Feel like I owe you guys dinner at this point. Entirely on me. I should have asked John to shoot me a reminder via email. If you guys are willing to have me back on in the future after leaving you hanging, I'll make sure I do so. I'll text him after the show. I haven't been to Enzo's. I think I've been there once in my life. Hard for me to go out for Italian unless they're making their own pasta. Kind of my snobbishness there.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. So we're out of here on this final day of July. Noah Fant, reportedly, Mark, is signing with the Bengals. Noah Fant let go by Seattle, reportedly signing with the Bengals, who freed up $1.2 million under their cap yesterday by letting the veteran running back Zach Moss go. So Noah Fant to Cincinnati. And Mark, you mentioned it. I think it was at the beginning of the hour. It might have been last hour. Dylan Cease had been linked to Houston, going from the Padres to the Astros.
Right.
Astros apparently pivoting last minute and zeroing in on Sandy Alcantara with the Marlins instead.
Right. Mentioned that right off the top of the show. I'd seen that either last night or this morning. I don't know which, but we'll see if Alcantara gets moved. And obviously, we said it before, David, when you look at the American League and the teams that are in the playoffs, to me, there's not great. So a move today could be the separation, because I don't see a whole lot of difference between the Jays, the Tigers, the Astros, the Rangers, the Seattle. I just don't. The Yankees, who's going to make the move to make the difference, or will a move make a difference? That's really the bigger question.
It's that time again, nearing the end, but not quite there yet. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
Today Was the Day When is brought to you by Game Day Men's Health. Online, it's simply that, GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Locations in Bonita Springs and Naples. Call them 239-427-3441. That's 427-3441. Mention Miller and Moulton and get 10% off your service. We start today in 1777. One of the bigger acquisitions ever, David. At just 19 years old, Marquis de Lafayette is appointed a major general of the Continental Army. That's a big pickup on a trade deadline, David.
Yeah, and he came through for us.
1922, 18-year-old Ralph Samuelson rides the world's first water skis in the land of 10,000 lakes.
Huh.
1932, the Cleveland Indians christened their new home, Municipal Stadium, before more than 76,000 fans, and they saw them lose 1-0 to the Philadelphia A's. Elvis returned to the concert stage for the first time in over 8 years today in 1969, starting a 4-week, 57-show run at the newly opened International Hotel in Las Vegas. Today in 1971, it's when the singer-songwriter was big, David. Really big. James Taylor, You've Got a Friend, hits number 1 in the United States. Fun little baseball stat for you. Today in 72, Dick Allen becomes only the 7th player in Major League Baseball history to hit 2 inside the park home runs in a game. They were both off of Bert Blyleven.
Wow.
Right. I thought so too. I thought you would like that one.
Was Allen with the White Sox then?
He was with the White Sox. They would win the game 8-1 over the Twins. Frampton Comes Alive was taken off of the top spot on the album chart today in 1976 by George Benson. The jazz artist Breezin' album hits number 1. It had This Masquerade on it. It's a tremendous album.
It is. And just remember, folks, it was the 70s. We were doing a lot of cocaine. Okay? A lot of
Which
cocaine.
doesn't make sense for a jazz album.
No.
1978, Rose goes to 44 games with his hitting streak, tying Willie Keeler's 81-year-old National League record.
Wee Willie Keeler, famous for, quote, hit 'em where they ain't, unquote.
Today in 1980, the Eagles split up. Glenn Frey and Don Felder go at it on stage. They never announced anything, but then Don Henley and Glenn Frey both did solo albums in the next 2 years. They would get back together in 1994 for their Hell Freezes Over album and tour. 1981, the midseason strike by Major League Baseball players ends after 42 days, canceling 713 games when players and owners come to an agreement on free agent compensation. Also today in 81, Journey released the album Escape. I had the cassette. That was a monster, David.
Yes, it was.
The last Playboy Club in the United States closes today in 1988. It was in Lansing, Michigan. The Texas Rangers had Nolan Ryan win his 300th game for them today in 1990. They would beat the Brewers. It was the 20th pitcher in baseball to get to 300. Walt Disney bought Capital Cities ABC for $19 billion today in 95. That would give them ABC, ABC Sports, ESPN, etc. Mark McGuire traded midseason from Oakland to St. Louis today in 97. It was the first time the top home run hitter in the league was traded in the middle of a season.
I think he ended up with 58 total homers in 97 between the A's and the Cardinals. And people were wondering as he was closing in on 60 and 61, are we going to count this the same? Because he played for two different teams, but he got to 58.
The Celtics acquired Kevin Garnett today in 2007 in a 7-for-1 deal.
Garnett didn't want to go. People don't understand how much he loved Minneapolis. He loved being a Timberwolf. They had to beg him. His friends were kind of like, come on, dude, you're never going to play a meaningful game the rest of your career. I mean, Garnett was what? Drafted in 94, 95 out of high school? I mean, come on, it's the Celtics. You got to go. And he didn't want to.
Michael Phelps became the greatest medal winner in Olympic history today. The 4x200 relay in London earned him his 19th career Olympic medal and his 15th overall gold. And it was 4 years ago that, or not 4, yeah, it was 4 years. 4 years ago, Katie Ledecky won the women's 800-meter gold for her third consecutive Olympic gold and claimed the double in the 800 and the 1500 meter.
Remember, the 2020 Olympics got pushed a year to 2021.
Kurt Gowdy, Nick Bollettieri, Kevin Green, and Jose Fernandez would have all celebrated birthdays today. Bill Callahan is 69. We were talking about this guy when Rhino passed. Leon Durham from the Cubbies, 68. Bill Berry from REM and Mark Cuban are both 67. Hockey player Dale Hunter is 65. Actor Wesley Snipes, 63. J.K. Rowling from the Harry Potter book, she is 60. Andre Ware, 57. Gus Frerotte is 54. Chris Wenke is 53, and I believe he still has 2 years of eligibility remaining.
Hooah!
Jonathan Ogden, 51. Browns quarterback Tim Couch is 48. Zach Brown, 47. DeMarcus Ware is 43. And Evgeny Malkin is 39 years old today. What did I miss, David?
I only got two things. It was today in 64 that Ranger 7 took pictures of the moon. We had only seen the moon via telescope before this. And this was literally 1,000 times better, the photographs of the moon. Kennedy had started the whole, we're going to be on the moon by the end of the decade. And so anyway, first true pictures of the moon that we took were today in 64. And today's the day Hoffa disappeared 50 years ago.
I had it yesterday. I knew you were going to bring that up, but I mentioned that yesterday.
So we think yesterday was the day he went missing, but it wasn't reported till today?
David, you and I use two different websites for this, and I use the same one you do, and it's like, I said that yesterday, so do I say it today? I don't know.
Right. So, but anyway, 50 years, by the way. 50 years. Sean Landetta had one of the great lines about it when he signed from the USFL in Philadelphia with the Giants. And they asked him about, kicking for the Giants and what have you. And he said, well, I mean, rumor has it Hoffa's buried out here. So it does bring new meaning to kicking into the coffin corner.
Time to see life a little bit differently. Here's Mark Miller with the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
Let's see. For the good today, we go to Massachusetts, where in Boston, a kitten was wandering alone near an I-95 on-ramp. Apparently, it went into a storm drain, and they could hear it crying. So animal rescue agents found where the cat was, set a humane trap, and played kitten sounds to lure him out of its hiding place. The kitten came out, was drawn to the food that had been placed in the trap. The 1-pound kitten was underweight and dirty, but otherwise healthy. The kitten, now named Pigeon, is with a foster home and will be put up for adoption once he's old enough to be neutered. For the bad, we go to Naples and a scumbag named Jacob Thielking. He was arrested yesterday for selling raffle tickets, telling people that they were going to win tickets if they won the raffle to a Tampa Bay Buccaneers New York Jets game. He said it was a fundraiser for the football team, the Naples Gators. He had no association with the Naples Gators and was ripping people off. It's not the first time that he's been lying about things. He also was arrested for grand theft, fraud, and exploitation of an elderly person earlier this year. Finally, the ugly, we go back to Chuck E. Cheese. For the second time in a week, Chuck E. Cheese is the ugly, and for good reason. This time in Mobile, Alabama, where a brawl happened at the Chuck E. Cheese that ended up with 20 people being injured. According to a witness, a man attacked a woman and kids, and then it turned into a wild brawl. A girl who said she was punched in the eye said she doesn't know if it was on purpose or on accident. So far, no arrests have been made in the brawl, but the Mobile Police Department still looking for suspects in the brawl. If you recall, earlier this week, Chuck E. Cheese made the news because their mascot was arrested while on the job at their Tallahassee location.
Right.
And that, David, is the good, the bad, and apparently the clientele is as bad as the pizza ugly here on Miller and Moulton.
By the way, if it goes down, it'd be fascinating on two fronts. First off, the Cubs were the team most closely linked to acquiring Shane Bieber from the Guardians. Bieber's made 4 starts in the last 2 years because of arm injuries. He's on the injured list right now. He had a rehab start, Mark, 2 days ago. 57 pitches, 4 innings in the minors. Apparently, he looked great. But the Blue Jays have stepped up. They're giving up one of their best pitching prospects, apparently, in a straight-up deal for Bieber, who's a rental, because the expectation is he'll turn down his player option for next year because, well, why not? So, you know, Toronto in a short series, Gausman, Bieber, if he's healthy, that's a different team. That's a different team. So we'll see if that goes down.
Just 3 baseball games today on the trade deadline. The Rays and Yankees finish their series, and it's not only the most interesting game of the day, it's the one that if you're watching the trade deadline, you want to pay a little attention to because it's the only game before the trade deadline. The other 2 games are at night. So we'll see if the Rays pull anybody out of the game. You know, if Brandon Lau doesn't start, I think that's an indicator. So maybe pay attention to who the starting 9 are for the Rays today, David.
The women are playing the Open Championship across the pond in Wales. Remember the young Florida State gal who is from England and she won her pro debut last week? Yeah, Mark, she's played 1 hole. She birdied it.
That a girl.
Yeah, Lottie Wode. Yep.
That a girl.
Mm-hmm.
Good for her.
So there is some afternoon golf for those of you who, you know, love anything late morning, early afternoon.
For those of you looking for Charlie Hall, she's already finished. She was 1 over today. And the Wyndham Championship is underway as well as players fighting for their last spot. It'll be as Football Friday as we can get tomorrow. Pat Kerwin joins us from training camp on Miller and Moulton.
It's time again for the Miller and Moulton Fantasy Football Summit featuring Dr. Roto, Tuesday, August 12th, Shula Show Sports Cafe inside the Doubletree Bell Tower Shops, Fort Myers. Sign up at millerandmoulton.com. You get dinner and the expertise of one of the best fantasy players in the country, and Doc Roto will even give you a cheat sheet for your fantasy draft on your way out the door. Sign up at millerandmoulton.com. Tuesday, August 12th is our Fantasy Football Summit. Dr. Roto and you. It's a fun night, and we help you win your fantasy football.
For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to NolanAgency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or NolanAgency.com.
Honey, you want to come out? I haven't seen you since Glass Doctor installed our custom shower enclosure.
No thanks.
Well, you can't keep eating breakfast in the shower, and laminating your magazines is getting expensive. You remember we have guests coming over tonight, right?
Oh, I'm sure they'd love to see the shower.
It's our neighbors, and I highly doubt they want to be hanging out in our bathroom.
The shower's so good, you'll never want to leave. Visit glassdoctor.com today and schedule an appointment online.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
With summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floor Meisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floor Meisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dream Weaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from to fit everyone's taste. Floor Meisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
Southwest Florida's scorching heat is on its way. Stay cool with Air Advantage. As a proud Rheem Pro partner, Air Advantage delivers top-notch air conditioning solutions to keep you cool and comfortable. Right now, enjoy 18 months, no interest, no payments on qualifying systems. Call 433-4635 today for expert installation and unbeatable comfort all summer long. Online at myairadvantage.com. Air Advantage. Call today, 433-4635.
This is Miller and Moulton